41 days until the National Football League season starts for your Philadelphia Eagles. Eagles Commanders in 41 days. Wow. Are you going to get it all installed in 41 days? Gary Cobb's going to join us at 4:30. He was at all the practices, and he gave me a insight on what has been happening there for the last couple days. Also, Big Z talking with John McMullen. That'll be at 3:30. Please do me a favor. Hit the like button. Super chats go to the top. And so far, it's been dominated by the defense. Now, a better day today. Now, in my opinion, that's a coaching move because the offense have been getting their asses kicked pretty much each and every single day in helmets and shorts. You can't let camp go and continue to go and the offense not seeing any production. So today was probably a coaching day, but we'll see what Gary Cobb says, and we'll see what John says after the program. A special Birds 365 right after. But, hey, there's been no doubt right out of the day and right out of the gate, the offense has sucked as we said it would. It's not because of talent. Well, it may be a little. Thank you, Suave. Appreciate you coming aboard. And thank you for the super. But it's exactly what we said would happen. This wasn't going to be an easy transition. Hey, and what's happening now is also you're hearing this. Man, the Eagle defense is going to be the #1 defense in all of pro football. Well, let's do this. That offense right now is not very good. It is not very good. So let's temper that before we see those guys get into real live action. I'm not suggesting to you that the Eagle defense doesn't have the ability to be a top 10 unit. That's not where we're going here. And for the record, how in God's name is the defense ahead of the offense in helmets and shorts? 11 on 11 and 7 on 7 is built for the offense, not the defense to win. But you have more talented players on the defensive side than you do the offensive side. And as I've been saying the entire offseason, I think that offense is overrated. We're going to get to that. And by the way, let's say this. But the players spoke, Nick spoke. We're going to go over that too as well. Mekhi Lemon and Eli Stowers so far, they do not look the part. They early in camp, and let's be fair, early in camp, those guys look common. Those guys look common. Hey, Sills, did Jimmy Johnson know about Derek Thomas? He was a South Florida kid. He went to Columbus High School with Alonzo Highsmith. He was going to Alabama no matter what because he wanted to play with Biscuit. He wanted to play with Cornelius Bennett. And he wanted to play with David Shula. So he was going to Alabama no matter what. But yes, Derek Thomas, a great friend. And God rest his soul, a great player. Absolutely. Absolutely. Hey, get this. Like I said, yeah, it's 3 days. 3 days, and you don't know what you have in offense yet. You know what you got in defense. But you don't know what you have in offense. You're right, RC. You have no idea what you have with that offense. None. Seals, why can't we practice like other teams? It's footage of everyone. Why not Philly? Because they're installing a new offense and they don't want to show anybody struggling, like the quarterback. Quarterback had a better day today. Is it true for Hurts? Hurts hasn't thrown a TD in a camp. Today was his best day so far. I am hearing that, and we'll hear from Gary, and we'll hear from John a little later on. You don't even know nothing about this fucking game. Why are you even talking it? I'm not, James, I know you're not talking to me. Who the hell are you talking to? I'd like to know so that I could keep an eye on them too. Let's see here. Offense wins games. Defense wins championships. Okay? Get this. Spin Master. Sills, if the Eagles offense has a great day, it's practice, but he will glaze the Patriots on 7-on-7 and 11-on-11 practice. Yeah. Have you watched their practice and seen some of the things that they're doing and listening to some of the interviews? And by the way, they're so transparent up there in New England. They've got almost all their camp on film. AJ had a great week, guy. Hey, Makai Lemon looks like a toad. Hey, Sills, Mulata said they never knew the offense could do like that. Upon Mannion, were we just telling our players to win their battles? How about this? Those guys are talking everything up right now. And their actions on the field are not showing it. By the way, I've got a bitch about how they're being coached. And I'm going to ask people with, let's see, is Donnell in here? Or let's do some people in here. How about this? Let me ask Sue this question. Sue, let me ask you this question. So are you ready, Sue? This is a question for you. Oh, here's Donnell. I'll ask Donnell and Sue this question. Donnell, if I were going to teach a new offense to somebody that, say, was Portuguese, would I speak in Portuguese to them? Or would I speak in German to them if I was teaching a new offense? What do you think? What do you think, Donnell? I'll say it again. If I was going to teach people from Portugal how to play a defense, would I speak Portugal or Portuguese? Would I speak that? Or would I speak German to them? Well, my problem is you would speak both. So you would speak to people in different languages on how to install a defense, and they don't know the language. And you would ask them to learn it. You would speak so they could understand. Communication, right. These other people in here are fucking idiots. So you would speak a language that people would understand. Correct. So all I'm hearing from the players coming off the field, we're learning a new terminology. Why would you teach players that have been together for 5 years a new language on how to block? Shouldn't the coaches change? You're asking 22 men to change compared to 2. That makes no sense. You want to know why the offense looks slow? You want to know why the offense looks like they're playing from behind? Because they don't understand the terminology. It's communicating. Would you say Darius Cooper could start over Lemon right now? I would say that Johnny Wilson could start over that guy. Did you see how disgruntled Moro Jomo was in the presser today? Not going to lie. He's not happy. He said the right things, but his tone said else. I'm going to get to him. Yes, I saw the interview with him. I did. So let me get this right here. Think about this too, Coyote. You had the number 2 offensive line in pass protection, and now you're teaching them different terminology. How does that not make sense? I mean, it just doesn't make sense. Let me give you new terminology on how to do a slip block or a trap block in a different term that they've been doing. Is that ego because you don't want it to look anything like Stoutland? That doesn't really sound like it's proper coaching. And that's probably why, again, that they're struggling. Get this. So if I say what everyone else has said for the last 3 fucking days, Prince says that's negative and lives off negative. When everyone has said the offense is blown, the last, God, dude. Hey, dude, at the end of the day, hey, Prince, seriously? What you don't like is I'm right. That's what you don't like, Prince. I'm right. Yes, Sills, it's widely considered a shock jock and professional troll in sports media. How can I be a troll when I don't go anywhere but my shows or my own social media platform? I don't go anywhere else. I've got 2 shows. I got a weekend TV show and I got this. What are you talking about? Oh, wait a minute. Here's Ant-Man. No, you're right. You played well. So far, Mekhi Lemon and everybody's getting out to a great start on offense. You see, this is a guy that wants to hear that. Hey, Sills, I don't want you to tell the truth. I want you to lie and say they're great. I won't say offense is blown. They are underperforming and things have to change. I don't care about this being a top offense, just a competent offense. Correct. Here, let's say Jay. This is going to be entertaining, I'm sure. Yeah, that's the whole point of a new system. What are you even saying? You would never know. I'll end it there. Does it make sense we're changing the 30th ranked offense? No. Why are you changing the terminology? Why can't a trap block be a trap block or a slip and scoop block be the same terminology? If you're doing the same stuff or you're doing something different, why can't you go down the lane of having the same communication and at least being able to communicate with somebody? You hear the players constantly saying, you know, the difference between a slip and a scoop is just terminology. Then again, RC, how would you know that? Seals, I get it. It's a new terminology. It's different, but from the sound of all the old linemen, they're not sitting on it more than embracing it. Okay. Nothing to say about Hurts today, huh? Well, no. He's part of the entire offense. Jalen's part of the offense. It's not playing well. That's not a shocker. So every new coach I had different terminology. I always thought it would have been easier for one person to learn a new vocabulary than 30. Correct. Most great coordinators come in and evolve to what the players around them are doing. So you got a play caller that's never called plays and you want him and you want Lane Johnson. And put this in perspective here. You want Lane Johnson and Jordan Mailata to learn Sean Mannion's terminology, who's never called a play. Make that make sense. Right now, the offense looks more lost than a polished immigrant on Ellis Island understanding the English. So every new coach needs to learn the old coach's terminology, even if the coach in the offense sucked. Why in the world, once again, why in the world would you change with players that have been together for 5 to 7 to 8 years? For a guy that's never been a coach and a coordinator in Sean Mannion's position. Why would you ask 22 to 30 players to change? Why would you do that? Just think about the logistics. Mannion's had no success at any level and play calling. None. And you're asking the players to change? If you were a GM, my first round pick and second round pick better fucking start unless it's a quarterback. You want to give it a year to learn. I get it. Hey, the way it looks right now, we're going to get to those guys. Those guys may see limited time. Mekhi Lemon and Eli Stowers. Stowers looks completely lost. Take, new coach isn't allowed to change terminology due to the fact the players are dumb to do it, said who? Hold on for a second. You got 40 days until the opener. You think you're installing all this new shit here and doing things you've never done before in 40 days? Good luck to you. Here's Vince Lombardi's Prince. Watch these Sills minions. It's sad. It's like special ed students walking in line to lunchroom. Bro, your knowledge of football is fucking ridiculous. Hey, those of you follow Prince, have at it. Follow you off a cliff. Every camp, people assume they have to be 5-year vets ready by week 1. I missed the super? Yo, Sills, my super. Let me see here. Did we miss it? I got you, bro. Thank you. Can we address Jomo being pissed? He was annoyed. We are. Look, we've got a whole shitload of things to go. Whole shitload. We're going to go there. Okay? I get you there. I promise. Then what would it take in not 40 days? Are you saying they aren't capable? They are professional athletes. Okay, so let me ask you something, Boulevard. Do you think that Matthew Stafford is capable of running an RPO offense in 40 days? Do you? You think Matthew Stafford's capable of running an RPO offense in 40 days? Hurts has never run a West Coast offense under the terminology ever. But he's going to do that in 40 days? He's never done that in his entire career. But he's going to do it in 40 days. Actually, 40 days until you start against the Commanders. Not a chance. Dude, he's not saying anything different than J-Mac. Can't stand to hear Hurts offenses playing like shit. I know Johnny Mac said they look like shit too. Why are you guys mad at me? John was out there. Why are you mad at me? Rasputin, your defense was so good. He won 1-2. Get this. The terminology shit sounds like stupid ass media announcers. No. It's football shit. Like having been in camp and playing for different coaches. The fuck you talking about, ding dong? That's shit for you and your homeboys at a bar somewhere on a corner stool for you to sit around and talk. I'm talking football to you. How dumb is that guy? This is like when new management comes in at the job and flips everything to how they want it. That's right. They're going to be hiccups. It's not even September. Riot, great take. And thank you. That's exactly, okay? That is exactly what is going on right there. Right there. Perfectly said, Riot. It's like when when a new boss comes in and he wants to flip everything upside down and do shit a new way. Okay? Let's see here. What? Why don't even know when I'm agreeing with you? Please don't ever agree with me. Make you sound smart. Seals, normally rookies can learn on the vets to get up to speed. That can't happen here because they are all rookies in this scheme. This is another great take. This is exactly right. Right here. Usually you can lean on the veterans and you can lean on veteran presence. But these guys are learning new terminology too. Hey, Bob, I can't tell you how many times you'd look over at a veteran like a Leroy Selman or you look over at an Ed Jones and go, you know, when he's saying wide tackle or slide to the left, what does he mean by that? Am I in a 3 technique or 2 technique? Ernie Stautner wants you in a 3 technique here, but you can slide over to a 2. You don't have that benefit here. Defense is great, Honor, but who's stopping the run? Hey, Kim, how do you know the defense is going to be great when the offense looks so poorly? I'm not saying they're not. I'm not saying they're not going to be. But let's hang in there and get them some reps. Didn't Sapp and Brooks struggle their rookie years until Tony Dungy got there and better coaching got there? Here, watch this one. All rookies? It's only the rookies on a team that don't have playoff experience. So, again, it just shows you what these people don't know, some of these guys. And by the way, it's not all of you. It's just like 15% of you in here. So, if everybody doesn't know what the fuck the coach is trying to get to, isn't everybody on the same page? If I don't know what he's talking about, and I played 10 years, I've seen it. When Jimmy came in and changed the entire defense from what Landry had for 30 years, nobody knew what they were talking about. I was in a meeting with Ed Too Tall Jones. Ed looked over at me. Dude, it's not a bad take. You don't know what I'm talking about. Bad take? I'll give you exactly something that happened. We're watching game film, and Butch Davis brought in what he was trying to accomplish on what he did at Miami. And Ed Too Tall Jones looked at me and says, I'm trying to do the thing that Sileo's doing with his left arm in that 3 technique. I looked over at him and I said, wow. But it's a brand new system. He played in that Landry old defense. It was different terminology for the players. They were learning a different position. They were learning a different technique. And Ed had played 17 fucking years. And he didn't know what they were talking about. That's what I'm talking about. Do you not comprehend that? Probably not. And most of this is probably over your heads. Okay? This is probably over your heads. Yeah, man, also, it's not my fault everything I said is adding up. Hey, James, this is why people are pissed today at me. Everything I said in the offseason so far has happened. Makai Lemon is slow out of the gate. We'll say that. Eli Stowers can't get on the field like he could in that Vanderbilt. Markel Bell still has to learn how to play with his pads. That's what Gary told me. And the offense has struggled mightily. They don't even know what the hell he's being asked, some of these guys. And it's different terminology. You're being told to do something different. Anybody would struggle with common sense. I don't care if you're the greatest player on the planet. We have higher expectations for our rookies. All our past rookies have been great, so I feel like we have a normal rookie in Lemon. Probably so. Probably so. So when the 49ers pivoted from Greg Roman to Shanahan, get this. This guy actually thought that Greg Roman was the fucking play caller. Do you actually believe, Rasputin, that Shanahan has changed the terminology of his offensive playbook? So when the 49ers pivoted from Greg Roman to Shanahan, did they use Greg Roman's verbiage? No, they used Shanahan's because it's Shanahan's playbook. Dude, you're using last week's talking points. Get updated. Okay. They had 1 day and 4. I'm talking about your camp so far, not 1 day. You've had 1 day, and the other days have been poor to below average. That's not a lie. I thought you don't predict rookies on being great or sucking. What happened to that narrative? Did you not hear what I said, Paul? So far in camp, he's been a turd. What are you not understanding about that? Okay? Not in that guy's life. Talk about Hurts stats in practice today. Let's take a look at that and see what Jalen did today in practice. I heard he had a good day today. Good. Good. They're going to need it. They need to get better. They need to get better. Let's see. 14 of 16, 3 touchdowns, a pick. Reportedly played well. And they had their best practice. Easily, Gary Cobb's going to be with us. Easily the best day so far. Okay? Easily the best day. Had an interception on 7-on-7, but whatever. Overall, a strong day today. Congratulations. For a $243 million offense, you should fucking be on top of your game. Get this. Why is that such a big win for you guys? You know why today I'm not that high on it? You're supposed to do that. You're spending $243 million. AJ injured, dislocated his thumb just now. No biggie. Sills, I don't know how you put it with your nonstop foolishness. Some of these full-grown men are unbelievable. Hey, I don't know how you put up with the nonstop. I mean, seriously. Underdog, thank you. Some of these guys in here, man. Listen, they used to, like, I used to get really, like, now they're just not very smart people. And their football acronym, it's not very good. So if you notice, Underdog, I use idiots like this and some of these other guys that are just foolish and don't know any better. Like, that guy will never be on my show again. That's how dumb his takes are. You know, usually I like to put people that have some common sense on, but that'll never happen. My fan base is delusional. Howie has drafted one guy that has been a good wide receiver. They expect a rookie wideout to replace an all-pro wideout. Hey, clairvoy, isn't that something we said last week? Roseman has drafted one wide receiver in 25 years. Let's see what Lemon looks like this year. Let's see what he looks like. Seals, the defense is continuity with the staff for 2 to 3 years. The unit will be able to play faster because they don't need a process what's been asked of them. The offense isn't close to that yet. No question. Let's see here. Get this. On the first 2 days of completely a new system, Sills wants the offense to be perfect. Don't you? You're paying $243 million. You've won 2 NFC titles. You won a Super Bowl. You don't expect to go into camp knowing what to do? And that you have a training wheels offense right now? That's your mentality? Get this. So get this. Jay says, Sills, it's the first week of practice for a $243 million offense that has won 2 NFC titles. And you want training wheels for training camp? You don't expect to be great right away, like your defense? Man, that's not realistic for a 243 for a $243 million offense. You don't expect a team with that resume and that price tag to come out of the gates perfect. This is pro football, dude, not high school football. You're damn right you should be perfect coming out of the gate. With a Super Bowl quarterback, with an offensive line and $243 million wrapped up in that, and you're telling me you don't expect to be on the same page week 1 at camp and you're 41 days away from your opener? How dumb are you? Still, some people will never get it. So, why wouldn't you expect people to be on the same page? Get this. Oh, yeah, let's be in midseason form. How about being competent? Jay, let's see this guy. Here comes another massive amount of nothings. Underdog is a compromiser. That's not even a football take. That's a bullshit take. Listen to me, and I know Sills, read it out loud. You had AJ and couldn't whoop teams' ass and put up those worst offenses last year. And James, let's see what happens this year. I already see the writing on the wall. I know what's happening. I have no problem with my 8-9 prediction. That's why this defense and run stop needs to be blustered, because this offense is going to take a quick minute. Let's see here. Elijah Moore looked great today. Between him and Coop, we might not need Lemon this year. There's not a single coordinator in the league that doesn't bring in their own verbiage when installing an offense or a defense, which is, get this, to what Rasputin's saying, most of the time when you bring in new coordinators, those teams blow. Andy didn't bring in a new coordinator. Andy's the play caller. McVay didn't bring a new play caller in. Okay? If you actually think Mike McDaniel is going to be calling offensive plays over Jim Harbaugh, who's called plays his entire life, that's going to be collaborative. I promise you, Jim Harbaugh. Those guys aren't bringing new verbiage in. They're going to go. You actually think, get this, you actually think Mike McDaniel brought in new verbiage in Los Angeles with Justin Herbert? It's the most asinine thing you could possibly think. So you think when you bring in like new verbiage, you bring in new verbiage to teams that stink like the Titans. Bro, have you ever been in a huddle? Or have you ever been in a team meeting? Let me know. Get this. I'm making invalid points for things that I've seen and personally been involved with. Okay. But this guy plays Madden in his basement. Okay. Those people will not be going to pretty much in the next couple segments here, because I can't dumb my brains down any more than what Prince and what these other guys are doing. You talk about people who don't see the game. By the way, John McMullen went off the top rope on that offense, and he was fucking there. Even Cam Jurgens said Mannion is learning at the same time we are. It's the first time he called plays with pads in practice. Sounds like it's a subsequent issues too. This offense will take some time. Yes. And defensive lineman, don't you think he should be struggling since he mainly being covered by Coop in the slot? Yes. I'll tell you what you don't see is A.J. Brown struggling against Christian Gonzalez. A.J. Brown's been torturing him for about a week in pads. He's been torturing that guy. And Christian Gonzalez, by executives, is ranked higher than Q as a corner. And he's torturing him. What up, Sills? Hope you're good. Hope you're good too, brother. Please hit the like button, guys. Back to what you said earlier. Yes, your expectations should be high, but it's not realistic to think you're going to be in mid-season. No. I didn't say mid-season form. I said knowing what to do. I mean, A.J. Brown's torturing Christian Gonzalez, who's on the cusp of getting a $35 million annual deal. Torturing that guy. I know. AJ's been losing a step since June 2nd to some Eagle fans. That guy had a spectacular camp. Spectacular week 1, I'll say. Spectacular. So let's say they go 8-9 and the Eagles going to be patient enough to let this offense develop under Mannion, or are they going to scrap it before? I don't know. You don't go to practice and get worse. That's not how practice works. Brian, I'll give you a great example of something that Tom Brady used to always say. And one of the things that the Buccaneers really loved about Brady, every single time that Tom Brady got on the field in practice, he played like it was a game. And it was a game. That's how important it was. If you don't do it in practice, how are you going to do it in games? That's what made Brady so spectacular. Every time he put on a football uniform, he put on pads. Every single game was played on practice with Tom Brady. Every rep. Every single rep mattered. Seals, the Eagles offense were 23rd last year with AJ, and these idiots think they're going to be better without him in 41 days. Your spin on how great AJ in 7-on-7s and bashing the Eagles. Well, 7-on-7 is set up for the offense to win. But not in Philly, I guess, right? AJ's winning and being spectacular in New England on 7-on-7. Your guys aren't in 7-on-7, but it doesn't matter in Philly. And it doesn't matter in New England if he's killing them. So which is it? I'm just using your mentality, dude. According to you, AJ's torturing Christian Gonzalez under your premise. Because outside of Devontae Smith, nobody looks good at your wide receiving core. Nobody. So, which is it? Pick one. The whole season is going to be, can Jalen play great without AJ at the top of the narrative list? Can AJ return to 24 form with May? Is the counter to that. Absolutely correct. Yes. Jim Harbaugh hasn't called plays in years. Oh. But yet you hear all the time, same negative. Wait a second. Don't get mad when the truth is here. It was a better day today. It was a better day. Stop fucking crying. Seriously, man. Some of you guys need a binky. Wicks looks good, but we'll see. Wicks had a good day. James, these people are fucking, it's not all of them. Take that back. Some of these people in here really need a bib. This guy needs a bib. Hey, Prince, I don't know what you talk about on a daily basis. Only thing you come in here for is, if I say the sky is blue, You say it's black. If I say it's white, you say it's red. Have a spin, guy. I'm sick of your shit too. I mean, I'm not in here to sit around and talk about dumb shit. What up, Sills? I hope you're doing well. You too, my friend. Just want to remind you, you said before week 1, we would have a chance for a minute or two of streaming together and talking ball. Keep it up, man. Go Birds. I did? Go over to my X account and remind me, because, dude, trust me when I tell you, I don't remember. But if I said that, go over to my X account. Haven't heard a word about Goddard. I get they don't have a lot of reps, but they were doing red zone work today and not a word about him. That's not uncommon. Okay? I'm going to get to a Jomo, I promise. So according to you, Sapp was training Carter. Who's the Lion King now? They worked out together up in Apaka. Bro, I don't care if you believe it or not. I don't give a fuck if you believe it or not. You didn't believe it when I told you that Tom House was working with Jalen 4 years ago. I don't really care. Hey, I'd rather have this offense get flamed in camp than have them mercilessly winning against that. Yes, that's right. That's a good take. Get this. You spent 45 minutes. John McMullen spent 2 hours talking shit on the team over the weekend about how well they were playing on defense and how bad they were on offense. I'm just echoing it. You just don't like to hear it. I'm not saying anything different than what everyone else was saying. What's your problems? Get this. Abe, what's their problem with echoing what everyone else is saying and then having my friends tell me? Last I checked, Warren Sapp played in Miami. Hey, Prince, have at it. Dude, thanks a lot for participating today. Sills, quick question. Does Mannion's offense include more tight end and running back plays? Just wondering. Blaine, you want to know what that offense looks like? Take a look at Green Bay. Tucker Kraft and backs out of the backfield. I will definitely remind you, it was a segment you thought about doing in the past, letting your viewers have a chance to argue their takes. Yeah, well, I'm going to have to pick, obviously, we'll do that. Maybe before the season starts, I'll pick some people that will be on with us. They're not just picking assholes in here. That's not happening. You're going to have to earn your right to have a conversation with me. Our defense has been the best unit since Fangio arrived. Having a great coach that knows what they're doing instead of figuring it out is 10 times better. Too bad our head coach can't fix the offense still. Think about that, senor. Why can't you hire quality coaches like you did on defense? Seals, get to your topics for the day. Fuck the trolls. Yeah, no, we're going to get to them. You're right. Let's do this, Danelle. Danelle, I'll ask one more time in the passing game. And let's do this. Who are going to be your explosion players? I asked you twice last week, and I'll ask you again. First week of practice. Who are your explosion players again going to be? Who are your explosion players going to be? What do you think? On offense, Abe, who's going to be the explosion players? Jake Elliott? The punter? That's not bad. I'm all right with that because you know why? That means checkdowns. And the offense is doing something good. Smitty and Barkley. Okay. Piatis, would that mean this? Barkley in the passing game too? Sills, is it a pride thing that the owner of the Eagles doesn't want to hire a quality OC? Blaine, if you hire a quality OC, what do you lose? Control. Think about that. Blaine, when you don't hire a quality OC and a super experienced OC or a hot OC, they want control. The Eagles don't want to give control up. They control the offense. Who plays, who doesn't play, the direction, scheme, firing Stoutland. They control all that. Okay? And so Nick doesn't want to give the control up. That's a fact. That's why you don't hire quality OCs. And that's why quality OCs don't want to come to Philadelphia. And that's why you get the Sean Mannions of the world. It's stuff like, and that's why you landed on him. By the way, I thought there was some very interesting conversation about the new O-line coach. I'm going to get to it because Nick spoke. They literally had McDaniel as their top candidate. He didn't want to come. No, because he wouldn't have the control. By the way, John McMullen said something perfect. Oh, and hey, so Sean Mannion spoke. You talk about a guy that's the king of the ums. He's not very good in front of a microphone, to say the least. You see this court ruling? Yes, I did. The kids now that were in 22 get an opportunity to play. And now you have 5 to play 5. Instead of you have 4 years or 5 years to play 4. That's going to be a big game changer, especially with over 1,100 people in the portal. Thanks, Kim. Oh, yeah, that dude is the king of the ums. Holy shit. Sean Mannion spoke. I was like, okay. 10 Jules. Thank you so much, Clay. Let's see here. Yeah, Mannion spoke over the weekend. I thought there was some interesting shit that he said. Cooper and the run game coordinator said they had huge challenges teaching the guys the new terminology. I was like, wow, really? You're teaching Jordan Mailata and Lane Johnson new terminology after 15 years of football in one voice in his ear, pretty much. That's really what you're doing? How do you walk in there and go, hey, I got a different way of doing something, or I have a different way and a different sound and how, you know, that thing that you've been doing for 15 years at a Hall of Fame level? I got a different way of doing it. Good luck on that one. Holy shit. Hey, Lane, you know that Hall of Fame resume you built up? Chris Cooper and the run game coordinator have a new way they want you to block it. Okay. All right. Sure. I do like the fact that Mannion knows how to play the politics, though. The guy's how he brought in. Smart. Someone got to him and told him how to do it. He talked a little bit about Hurts' unique abilities, which is running and playing under center. He also talked about, again, working with Fangio and working against him. It's an elite group that you get a challenge every single day, which is good. And here's something else that you have to understand. And I don't really think many of you. So let me get this right. Let me go to one of these. Let me go to one of these guys. Let me go to Prince. So, Prince, let me ask you a question, Prince. So here's Mannion's words. I've got to figure out what Jalen feels and feels comfortable with, and what plays he likes, and what schemes he likes, and what plays work. Does that sound like a guy who's going to put a passing attack in what he likes or what the quarterback likes? I've got to get a feel for the confidence and what Jalen feels comfortable playing with. Okay? That's everything you said you want the OC to do, Sills. Okay? So don't go back and tell me then that Kevin Patullo didn't do that, that Kellen Moore didn't do that any of these other guys haven't done that, because they have. They build the offense to what the quarterback wants. So stop blaming the OCs. You keep blaming the OCs. Now, where you're going to be able to blame the OC is on Sunday in his situational play calling. We'll see how that works. But he's making and finding plays to fit the quarterback. How many times are you Jalenites going to make excuses up for the guy, Prince? He's finding plays. Here's the quote. Jalen feels comfortable with and the plays that he wants to run. This is a direct quote. Okay? Kevin Patullo did the same thing. They ran the plays. Where he got in trouble was at his Sundays situational play calling. Mannion will have the same issues. By the way, that guy didn't sound like some evil genius at the mic. He sounded like an inexperienced coach behind the mic. I counted 400 ums. Now, again, that's not an indictment on his knowledge of the game. But don't talk to me about he's inexperienced at every level, behind the mic and under the headset. Hey, Sills, in your opinion, if Hurts can't execute this offense, what do you think is more likely? They scrap Mannion's system or they move on from Hurts next season? Well, I think the continual hiring of coaches that fit Nick more than they fit Jalen. I think Jalen's gone. Seals, they build the offense to what the quarterback wants, but within the system, example, out of 30 plays, they give the quarterback that the OC drew up. The quarterback will choose his favorite quarterback, isn't drawing the plays. No, what they'll do is they'll script out plays in the first 25 on what the quarterback and the OC want to do situationally. If you ever notice what really the Eagles get in trouble, it's not the first 25. It's coming out of halftime, and it's after the first 25. That's when they get in trouble, because then they got to go in game and they have to have situational play calling. How can you have situational play calling when you've never been in a situation? All the teams with new OCs and DCs are able to learn new terminology. The Eagles are different. They can't because their players are – no. Here. Get this. Tennessee, new OC. Commanders, new OC. Giants, new OC. All these teams suck. Jets, new OC. Ain't no new OC in LA with the Rams. San Francisco. None of that. And the only reason there's Clint Kubiak left because he got a head coaching job. Hey, by the way, I'm just echoing what everyone else is saying. Stop getting mad. Seahawks guy left because he got a head coaching gig. Not because they were going to fire him. Like I said, Jim Harbaugh will be making those calls as he has been. Seals, wouldn't you say North Turner had to figure out what players worked for Aikman, Smith, and Irvin Yeah, well, the difference between what he did and say what a Chan Gailey did. Chan Gailey believes in like what Nick does, a system. North Turner believed in getting the football to Michael Irvin in the passing game, no matter what. Unlike what you guys think, you guys get this. You know what some of the people in here have been saying to me the last week about A.J. Brown being a focal point? You know what they're saying? We'd rather spread the ball out and have the ball in the hands of Elijah Moore on 3rd and 11. They get the ball and force the ball to AJ. What would you rather do? Force the ball to AJ or throw the ball to Elijah Moore on 3rd and 11? Who would you rather get that football to? Your quarterback is not a guy that spreads the ball around either. Who would you rather get that ball to? Your more talented football player or the less talented? Let me guess, the less talented. Okay, well, who do you think's got a better chance of being open, Elijah Moore or A.J. Brown? Seriously, who do you think has got a better chance of being open? Dontavian Wicks or A.J. Brown? I can't wait to see this offense without A.J. in it. I already see what it looks like. At last time, Hurts learned something new. He had a turnover every game until they took the ball out of his hands because the O-line was begging for it. Let's see here. Force the ball to AJ. Fuck yeah. I'd rather force the ball to AJ than spread it around to Hollywood Brown and Dontavian Wicks and Elijah Moore. Yeah. Those guys are dudes. By the way, you may need to get yourself some more offensive football players. Those guys ain't that hot. Original Philly, he's cooking Gonzalez. What are you talking about? A.J. Brown is torturing Christian Gonzalez in camp. And Gonzalez is on the cusp of getting a $33 million deal. I get that. I get that take, but a lot of times Hurts didn't go through progressions because he was forcing it to AJ. Obviously, you want the ball, you want to get the ball in the hands of your most talented players. Yes. Forcing it to a number one. I mean, bro, there's a reason those guys are number one wideouts. Is because they beat their opponents. Guys like Chase and Jefferson, I'm sorry, guy. I'm not throwing to Jordan Addison. I'm throwing to Justin Jefferson. Seals, I could be wrong, but it seems like Mannion generally wants to develop Jalen and get him back to his 22 form, but just doesn't have the experience. Jalen can help him out a lot, Danelle. He can help him out a lot. If he wants to do it, he can help him out a lot. So in training camp, do first team offense play first team defense, or these just drills? I love what Vic does. Vic in training camp, especially in the first week, because you're not really scheming up another team. Now, that may change because whoever their first preseason game is, guys, tell me who their first preseason game. They'll probably start game planning that up. But what he does is kind of what Stoutland did. He'll go Bond, Trotter, or he'll go Munden and Campbell. And I like that because you know why? You're getting these guys prepared. Oh, something else I'm going to say. Let me go here. Don't be shocked if Jeremiah Trotter pushes Campbell for playing time. Don't be shocked if he pushes him for playing time. That kid is coming on like a bat out of hell, and I'm pretty surprised because I didn't think he was fast enough, but he is coming on. And I'll tell you what, he's going to run somebody's ass over. And to get more playing time and get that kid's ass on the field. Trotter's coming. Still's not a good start to Lemon's training camp. Yikes. Are you shocked? Now, again, let me back that up. Let's see what he does. Hollywood Brown hasn't been a wide receiver since 2021 with impact on a field. Sills, I know it would be good to force it to them, but the system Mannion is trying to implement doesn't really feature one player. Yeah, but that's a different skill set that the quarterback has to have. He's got to be a progression reader and a guy who spreads the football around. Your quarterback doesn't do that. Sills, with the new offense, do you need our players playing in preseason? My opinion is yes. If for the reps, then nothing else. Correct. You got 41 days to implement this and this new terminology. Absolutely, I think they should play, but they won't. I guarantee you this. I bet you Fangio plays more of his starters and has that defense ready to play week 1 against the Commanders because he's going to put his guys in during the exhibition games. That's the closest thing to real football. Those organized team practices, as Vic says himself, those aren't real practices. That's not real football. Fangio doesn't care about where you're drafted to play the best linebacker. He really doesn't. And that, as a player, that keeps you more engaged. Damn, I'm a 6th-round draft choice. If I outplay that guy, Vic's going to find a place for me to play. Sills, but we've only seen one top-paid elite wide receiver win a Super Bowl. And would you be able to pay the defense if we kept AJ? No. By the way, once again, weapon, what they're doing on offense makes no sense. It just doesn't make sense. Today was their best day. I'll bet you anything that was a coaching decision. Put the defensive guys in tougher positions. Put the offensive guys in easier positions. You got to build confidence in camp. And I would have done the same thing. Sills, we should expect ups and downs from the offense. So wait a minute, SS. You want to accept ups and downs from your offense that you paid $240 million to and have all this experience, ups and downs? Why are you making excuses for the biggest and most paid side of the football? Don't you expect greatness? The only time teams distribute the ball, even in the West Coast, it's when there's not a great preliminary target, either at wide receiver, tight end, or running back. What do you mean, like Jerry Rice? So does this mean get rid of AJ, help sign Carter? Maybe. If that's the case, we should see the value of Carter versus AJ at the end of the year. Oh, are you kidding me? The AJ Brown conversation will be daily. Because if you struggle at wideout and that kid you drafted to replace Devontae at 2 doesn't pan out or get on the field and have any impact, that decision with 2 years remaining with AJ on it and not to fix that problem between the quarterback and the wideout, let's see how that affects the team and affects the quarterback in the offense. That's a storyline, dude. The Eagles moved off of a top 10 wideout with 2 years remaining on his contract. Sills, he didn't want to be here. Why? Okay. The head coach, the quarterback. Okay. You had to get rid of him. You had to get rid of him because he didn't like where the offense was going. So when AJ knew that you guys were signing a new coordinator and you were going to start to evolve into going in a different direction, that still didn't sell him on staying. Why? Because the same people were behind, Nick and Jalen. Seals, I think we need to draft another first-round solid X wide receiver. Don't get me wrong, got to wait and see what this core does. But Smitty across from Cam Coleman, Texas wide receiver with Lemon in the slot would be deadly. Again, you're assuming the quarterback's going to be able to spread it around. Ask Philly 500 on his show, who gets the Nah Brown Award this camp and preseason, a.k.a. the preseason MVP. He said Darius Cooper. Who you got? Darius Cooper is your MVP, and it's not one of the other guys outside of Devontae? Man. So as you see the cap hits on Jalen Carter, they don't go over $30 million until 31. It's a great contract. It really is. Howie paid a little extra for more room to be able to move. Yeah. That's my bet. Trotter, the MVP of the preseason. I'll put my money on that. Like I said, I asked you guys where you're getting your explosion plays from 2 times last week and right here on a Monday out of the gate. Yeah. You got to be determined. Mekhi Lemon and Eli Stowers, so far, they don't look the part. Early. True. Sean Mannion spoke, and we're going to get to his comments. And as I just said with Trotter, Trotter's coming, and he's coming for somebody's job. You can guarantee you that. So Nick Sirianni spoke today. And he was asked a question about Sean Mannion. Loves the way that he goes about his business. How detailed he is. And he wanted to make sure in this camp that the majority of the voice that the players heard was Sean's. Sounds like to me like Nick is kind of taking a step back a little bit on direction and in the installation. So in the install, it looks like Nick has kind of stepped back a bit. Because if this is true, the voices that you're hearing the most is the offensive coordinator. That's a good way of coaching. One voice. You get clarity that way. Too many voices, you have disarray. So I actually like this. This is a good move here. Our job is to get better every day. We're working on that. Chris Cooper, he said something weird about Chris Cooper. He was asked about him. I want Chris Cooper to coach within his job description. We know he's a phenomenal coach. Who told you that? Phenomenal coaches get re-signed. So it was a little bit of overselling there on Cooper. How about Cam Jurgens coming out and saying that he came back too soon, and Nick was asked about the medical team putting him on the field before he was cleared to play. He went into some diatribe, and I was like, wow. So Cam really did that? Cam came out and said, I came back too soon? Okay. All right. How about this? What we just talked about at the Open. Learning the new terminology. And it's something that all the players are getting used to. Learning the new terminology. So everything that we said about at the top of the program, Nick echoed it. Mekhi Lemon, thus far, hasn't really showed anything, but he loves his work ethic. It's early. Fair enough. I'll tell you something I really like. Boy, I'll tell you what, you listen to Jalen Hunt, that guy's on a mission. Dude, the kid is very, very impressive. You could tell he's a smart dude too, man. That guy is a smart guy. You know, and what I love also is the way that the guy is watching other pass rushers, talking to other pass rushers, wanting to get better. I'll tell you, man, you talk about another gem find in later rounds. Couldn't have been more wrong about Jalen Hunt. That's another what looks like to be. He's a better football player than Nolan Smith. I'm sorry. He's got more upside. He's bigger. He's taller. I think he's more athletic. I think Nolan's faster. And, yeah. You develop players. What happened to Nolan Smith? He's a good player and all. He's impressive. I like listening to Cam. I'll tell you something else that was disappointing. Moro Jomo addressing his contract. Eagles haven't come to us at all. They've had no dialogue with us whatsoever. If there was a contract that was out there, there would be one signed. He told them, you put a contract in front of me, I'll sign it. That's what he basically said today. Eagles have no intention of addressing that until they see what Carter does this year. And actually, that's past now because they signed the contract. They're not signing Moro Jomo. No way. I mean, you're going to have 3 or 4 $25 million players. How he can do it, let's see him get it done. How about that? Moro Jomo was upset. I guess his agent has gone to them and asked, and they haven't addressed anything. By the way, I'm just echoing how many people listen to, here, look at this. Here we go again. Wait a second. How many people heard Moro Jomo today in the presser? Did he sound excited? Or did he sound disappointed? What do you think? And Reyes said, here we go again. How do you think he sounded? Excited or disappointed? What do you think? Coach, within your job description, sounds like Mannion is telling Cooper to stay in his lane. Pissed off? Okay. Fair enough. Who else? I watched. He was blatantly upset. According to M. Reyes, here we go again. Sills, I got to say, I love you. I know you deal lots with the haters, but you do a great show. You keep us entertained and bring quality content regardless of those and these losers say. Tremendous respect for you. Thank you very much. See, what people like this guy hates is telling the truth. And, by the way, all the shit I said in the offseason, week 1 of the defense and the offense looks like exactly what we said. It was going to be slow. But Reyes and Prince and everyone, seamless transition. Yeah, seamless transition. Okay. Dejected. I use that word. I thought Moro Jomo was ejected. He dejected. Yeah. I think he should have signed. I think he should have signed a guy that produces the same as the $40 million guy for half the price. Ajomo doesn't impact the game like 24 Carter did. So wait a minute. He's going back 2 years. Who do you think had more impact on the defensive football team a year ago? Moro Ajomo or Jalen Carter? I'll go back 1 year. He'll go back 2. Who do you think had more impact last year, Ajomo or Carter? Who played better last year, you think? Who played better? Carter played better than Moro Ajomo last year? How many people agree with Spit that Carter played better than Moro Ajomo last year? Spit says Carter played better. I bet you Prince does too. I bet you anything. Prince will say that Carter played better. What do you think? Carter played hurt? Welcome to the NFL, kid. Chill Sills what? Truth, justice, and the Big Sills way? Forrest says that Carter played better. Because Ajomo is a backup rotational player, how we paid the starters. We'll start more DTs. Not even close, Sills. Sills, yes. Morrow seemed disappointed, but there's time. There is. If there's anyone that can get it done, Howie's it. I agree. So the question is then, Bird, you're going to pay Moro Ajomo how much? 25? Cooper, 28. And Q, 36 or 34. Right? So you're going to pay roughly around $90 million for those 3 guys. What about your quarterback? What about Smitty? Is it that line you guys told me? You can't. Wait a minute. Didn't you guys tell me? Can't pay them all. You can't pay them all. Isn't that what you guys say? Yes, it seems crazy, but what Howie just did with Carter's contract, I think we can work some wizardry. Okay? I think that was a really good contract when you take a look at it. Ajomo's agent needs to tell him to put his head down. That's right. You're betting on yourself. Here's the deal. Moro Ajomo, with the salary cap going up, he's going to command $25 million. Here, I'll tell you what I'll do. For shits and giggles here, Moro Ajomo's value. Moro Ajomo, I'll just Google it. 2027 market value will be what? His market value will be between $20 and $25 million. That's what his market value and projected contract will be. I don't know. Google it, as Kurt Signetti says. They at least need to tell Jomo that they want him, but they can't. That's why Vic did it. Vic Fangio did it. Vic says you better save some of that money for my boy Moro Ajomo. Absolutely. Better save it. Seals, you said Jalen can help Mannion get him back to his 22 form. Can you explain that? Yeah. Buy in on the run game. Jalen Hurts will help his passing attack if he runs the ball. Simple. If Jalen wants to have high completion percentage, run the ball. If Jalen doesn't, he'll be Donovan McNabb at the end of Donovan McNabb's career. When McNabb stopped being a dual threat guy, he stopped being Donovan McNabb. I mean, McNabb was electric early in his career. Wasn't that he was a crazy RPO guy, but he knew when to run. He knew how to pick up yards for the sticks and move the sticks. Carter would have played on a $3 million without making waves. Absolutely true. Rosenhaus wasn't going to let him play during training camp if he didn't have that contract. But looking at the contract, it's really team friendly. And they've got a lot of clauses in there. They've got workout and weight clauses in his contract. That's like saying show up in shape. We want to make sure you show up in shape. And we want to make sure you're dedicated to the sport. You can take that for whatever it is. It's in his deal. There's nothing to do with sacks. There's nothing to do with playing time. Everything is in there is based on being in shape. Go read the contract. It's over at Pro Football Talk. Inside the numbers, there's nothing on sacks. And if he plays 70% of the snaps, he gets it. It's all about health and being in shape. And you could take that for whatever it is. Eagles can't afford to pay 3 DTs big money when they have Coop and Q and possibly Jalen Hunt's contract coming up. Hey, by the way, when is that, Jalen Hunt? Jalen Hunt eligible for an extension. Okay, Jalen Hunt is not eligible for a contract extension yet, but he is projected to become eligible after the conclusion of the 2026 season. So if that guy goes out and gets 15 sacks this year, and Jalen Hunt's eligible for an extension this coming offseason in March. So you better put that on your table. Jalen Hunt, Q, Cooper, those 3 dudes on your defense are eligible for contract extensions. What if Hunt gets 12 sacks? And he does what I said and predicted. By the way, I want to reemphasize that Jalen Hunt will have more sacks than Jonathan Grenard this year. That's a big Sills bold prediction. That Hunt will have more sacks. Yes. If Hunt has 15 sacks, you could say goodbye to Nolan. Nolan? You're going to have to say goodbye to a lot of other people. That guy has 15 sacks. You're talking paying $35 million. What do you think you're going to pay him? 25? For a 15 sack guy? You better up that price tag there, Junior. The guy that was in Cincinnati just got 38. If Hunt's between 12 and 15 sacks, you better look out. Seals, if you were AJ mentally, are you battling wanting to make a new decision worth it? The same way Jalen is thinking on making it work without him. Yes, of course. Dude, everyone's got an ego. AJ wants to show it was him, and Jalen wants to show it was him, not AJ. You know the Belichick Brady conversation? That's what you have here. Is it Jalen making AJ better or AJ making Jalen better? That's a discussion, man. Hey, and by the way, those of you who don't know how to do sports talk would say that that's not a factor or a talking point this year. It is. Because these are decisions that you made in the offseason that were an effect on your football team. Big time. When you move off of an offensive player like that, you better have answers. If you want to move off of Jalen Hurts this coming offseason, you better have an answer for that. And I'm not talking about Kenny Pickett. You move off of a player like Hurts, you need to move into a player like Burrow. I'm not replacing Jalen Hurts for Tyrod Taylor or Malik Willis. That's not how that's done. Hey, yeah, let me replace Jalen with Tyrod Taylor. What? Nobody on their right mind is saying that. Let me replace Jalen with Tanner McKee. Get out of here. Nobody in their right mind speaks like that. When you're good, I'm looking to upgrade, not downgrade. Eagles are so unbalanced position-wise to who is being paid is comical at this point. Well, because Hollywood, they never believed in 2-year or second contracts on the defensive side of the football for a decade. That's why they rotated guys in and out of there. Howie looked at the defensive side and thought defense is a luxury. And that's why, now they're starting to sign guys because their more talented players are on defense. I don't think there's any coincidence. By the way, I'm sorry to say this to you guys. If Vic Fangio was not the coordinator, I highly doubt those players would be excelling the way they're excelling. Vic is getting everybody paid, whether it's here or somewhere else. Every guy that's played for Fangio, Jalen Phillips, Milton Williams, N'Kobe Dean, every guy that has played for him is getting paid. I don't think there's any coincidence to that. Since no one in Philly is going to worry about the cap. We've been hearing it too long. Fact is, Howie always gets the money right. So somehow, some way. Yes. I'll say this to you, though. You are letting a lot of great players leave. Blankenship, too. Right. Regis got played in Houston. Here, let's do this. Watch this. Let me show you something here. I'm going to add this up. Jalen Carter contract value. Jalen Carter. I'm going to show you this. Jalen Carter, $152 million. Let's take a look at Jordan Davis, $78 million. It's 10. It's $200 million. Who else? Milton Williams. There's $104 million. It's $310. Jalen Phillips. These are guys that all played under Vic that got contracts. Jalen Phillips. $120 million. That's $430. Kobe Dean. All guys who played under, there's $36 million. There's $496. Who else? Sweat. Josh Sweat. There's $76 million. $576 million. Who else? Reed Blankenship. Let's go Reed. What did Reed get? $24 million. Okay, there's $600 million. Who else? Am I missing anybody else? Zach Bond. Yes, sir. Zach Bond. What did Zach get? Let's see. Bond contract. Eagles. How much was that baby for? $51 million. There's $651. Who else? Anybody else? I'm missing any? Orrin Burks and with Isaiah Rodgers, we'll put that at around $35 million between the both of them, or $685. So in 2 years, Vic Fangio has roughly got players paid in excess of $700 million. Like $700 million. He's gotten players paid in the last 2 years. $700 million. I'd put Gennard in there, but Gennard hasn't played for him yet. Look at that. Since 24, $689 million. Vic Fangio's responsible on getting guys contracts. Put that in your hat. And Ajomo's going to be in the long line of those guys. Wait till you're going to pay Q. Dude, get this. When you pay Q and you pay Cooper and maybe you have to pay Hunt, in 3 years, Vic Fangio is going to be pushing $1 billion in player contracts that he got paid. $1 billion. Put that in context. I mean, right now it's $689 million that Vic's got players paid. Woo, baby. Hey, if you get your agent calling you and your agent's doing this, hey, the Eagles are interested in you going to play defense for Vic Fangio. You know what you're saying? Holy shit. Sign me up, Tariq Woolen. Are you crazy? I'm in line on getting paid. Nobody doesn't get paid that plays in Vic's defense. No one has been paid. I mean, that's impressive. All right. So, again, from what I'm understanding, and by the way, Gary Cobb hopefully will join us. That'll be at around 4:30. He was out there at practice. And I hope G Cobb is able to jump aboard because he was out there watching it. Yep, he's good. 4:30, he's ready to rock with us. Okay. Without further ado, and by the way, they did great work. I watched the show over the weekend with John and with Z. I think they were on for about an hour. Z was on this morning, and there's going to be a special Birds 365 right after the program. John's bird's eye view through John's lens on what he saw at camp. Our friend, Big Z. I think he sat on the sun all weekend long or something, either that or he was near a nuclear power plant. My boy, Big Z. Zander Krause joins us. How you doing, bro?
What's up, Big Sills? How you doing, brother?
Good, man. 41 days to the start of the season against
I'm ready.
Commanders.
Yeah, 41 days. That's like nothing, man. That's like nothing. So I'm ready to get to it, my friend. I'm ready to get to it. Day 4 of camp. Are you scaring these Eagle fans with day 4 of training camp?
Scaring them? No, I told them exactly what would happen. They would struggle, and it would be a slow putt until this team got – remember I asked you, too, when you thought the offense would be on the same page? What'd you say, week 8?
Yeah, it'll take a little bit. That's all right. I think that's a good thing. I mean, that's okay.
Yeah, right.
So I'm all right with it. But I said this morning or over the weekend, my only concern right now, not concern, but, the only thing that I think is something to keep an eye on here is I don't like hearing that Makai Lemon doesn't look the part. I don't mind that you have rookie struggles, but I don't know. Maybe I have PTSD from first round receivers with Jalen Reagor and all the dudes that Philly has struggled with, but haven't really heard glowing reviews of Makai Lemon.
Too.
Stowers definitely too, but I think Makai Lemon's a bigger piece to the puzzle this year, so it's a bigger deal. But we'll see. I mean, he's got a lot of time.
Let me go on the other side of that, though. He is going against Cooper DeJean.
Yeah, it's true.
Okay. And it is a new install.
It is that, but it's not everything that
you're just
I've
saying
heard.
Moving around, he doesn't look the
even
role.
From a skill set standpoint. Yeah. Like I remember John back in the day when Devontae got drafted, before he wasn't about who he was lining up against. It was that dude looks like an NFL caliber wide receiver. That dude has athleticism. That dude has a raw talent. His hands, his route running, all of those different things stuck out to you. You draft Jalen Carter in round 1. Well, we'll see what he does, but holy crap, that dude looks like a beast. You draft Jordan Davis even, you're like, man, that dude's athleticism is next level if he figures out how to play in the NFL. Only thing I've heard from Makai Lemon is like, give him time. John's like, it definitely doesn't look anywhere close to Devontae did. He said he looks closer to Wicks than he does Devontae.
Man, way too early, but that's not good to hear so far. But again, let's see the pads get on. And remember, the problem that I have with those comments, dude, 7-on-7 is supposed to be lined up for the offense. I mean,
yeah, but remember, it is built in that it's a new offense, and remember, they are going against the Vic Fangio defense that's been here 3 years now. So, I think there's some differences, but I'm not ready to sound the alarm bells here on August 3rd, Big Sills.
Boy, I'll tell you what, though, if you have a $230-some-odd million offense, and we're talking about struggles and limping and not being on the same page, yeah, I didn't know that the Eagles were in the business of having training wheels offenses being installed with 41 days to go to a game. That doesn't sound like something that – I'll tell you what, no one's talking that shit on the defensive side of the football, and the majority of your money being spent right now is on the offense. That's my concern. Is that I'm not saying that you don't have good players over there. Do they know what they're doing?
Well, maybe not. I mean, I think we got to give that a little bit of time. So that's part of the new offensive install. It's part of the big scheme change. Cam Jurgens spoke a little bit about it today. He was talking about, they're not asking us to play chess at the line of scrimmage every time. It's a lot quicker. So I think they're clearly implementing a lot of different things into the offense. I think there's a natural growing pain to that. You do have the other caveats of the new coordinator and all and the offense not being good last year, but I'm going to give it a little bit of time here before I get a little nervous. But real quick, I meant to mention Makai Lemon. He did also not miss today's practice, but he was out there early and then he did not participate in any team drills. So I don't know, is that lingering injury he had in the spring? Is that something that's still still a part of the story. I think that's something to keep an eye on too, because you obviously want him out there for team reps to get acclimated for the year, but we'll see.
It hasn't been a good 4 months for that kid.
I can't disagree with you.
Didn't he miss OTAs and minicamp?
He missed part of it. Yes. I think he was there for only the first couple of days.
Okay. You're right. Let's hang in there and see what this thing looks like here.
I think the big thing there is, I want to preface what I mean when I say there's some concern is, and you know this, Sills, the Eagles have put a lot of stock in that pick. I'm not even talking about the future right now. I'm talking about the 2026 campaign. You trade A.J. Brown away and you spend a first-round pick. You bring in Wicks and Brown. You need that collection of players to make up for the loss of talent with A.J. Brown, So I think there's more of an emphasis on Mekhi in year one than a lot of rookies. And will he be able to fit that billing? I'm not sure.
Boy, it just seems to me, listening to Cam, it sounds like it's going to be a little bit more finesse offense than a power offense.
Definitely.
Do you think you have finesse players?
I think you have some finesse players. I think Mailata can be finesse. That dude was playing rugby in Australia, running up and down the field. I think Cam, he did have a good history of getting to the second level. You saw it a lot in 24 as well. So I think Cam's all right. Landon obviously sticks out like a sore thumb when it talks about being finesse. He's not a finesse guy. He's a bruiser. He's a mauler. He's a big body dude. But I think Devontae and Mekhi fit the finesse more than what AJ might have. Hollywood Brown, obviously. Jalen Hurts, I think, is fine. So I think some do. I think some don't. But overall, I think they have enough of what they need to perform well in the offense. I won't use that as an excuse that they're not finesse enough for them to not have success. I don't think that's a good way to gauge it, in my opinion.
Would you not agree that some of the language that the players are talking about is learning the word terminology? And let me ask you here. So, to me, Zander, you've got 11 guys who have had immense success, especially over the last 5 years, right? Immense success. You've got a coordinator and a run game coordinator who have had none and no success when it comes to installing run game. And actually, to put it into Chris Cooper, he's had, how would I put it, a spotty coaching career. My question to you is, so if I'm going to teach you something, and let's just say that I got guys, and I brought this comparison up. If I've got a bunch of Portuguese players, I want to speak and learn Portuguese myself to teach them and put them in a position to be successful. I'm not going to try to teach them how to get in position in German. And my point is that you're hearing the guys talking about terminology. Don't you think communication when you're trying to install a new offense is one of the most essential things that you can have for a team to understand exactly what you're talking about on a slip, on a fan block? Do you want me to get into a 3 technique? Coach, what do you call it a slip? I call it fan. Getting on the same page. Wouldn't it make more sense to change 2 people's mentality on terminology than 11?
No, because the players aren't the leaders of the offense.
But I've had success. Wait a second.
No, because when you're a general in the Army, you don't come in and ask the Army, hey, how do we fight the war?
If those guys
they're not leading the offense,
bro. If those guys stormed the beaches of Normandy and you haven't ever done anything in a fight, and you want me to come in there and give you different terminology, hey, bro.
Also, I don't think your point is that bad. I just don't think it's exclusive to the Eagles. Isn't this an NFL-wide thing? Kellen Moore came here and did the same thing.
Most times when you come in and change an offense, it's because you suck. It's not because you're great. You're not changing. So you think you're changing?
Dude, every offensive coordinator has their own. Do
you really think Mike McDaniel is going into Los Angeles?
Yes, I do, 100%.
It's not true. He's not changing.
So you think Mike McDaniel, who has a playbook that made him the head coach, is ripping up his
playbook? I do not think
over there? No way.
Holy shit. You think you're going in and changing Jim Harbaugh's terminology on Justin Herbert? No fucking way.
He absolutely is.
I've never seen that.
I'm looking at the report. Offensive coordinator of the LA Chargers is implementing new words, calls, and language into the playbook, pushing the players to step out of their comfort zone.
You're adding to what Harbaugh has installed.
Well, their offense worked. Ours didn't, so we're not keeping as much.
Okay, well, I'm going to completely 1,000% disagree with you.
Okay,
and
good.
we'll agree to disagree. All right. So, as we say with Lemon here, and also with how they're going to install the run game and how they're going to do the run game. Chris Cooper and what's his name? The run game guy? Ryan
Mahaffey.
Ryan Mahaffey. Okay.
That's a Mannion guy. He came from Green Bay.
Now, let me ask you this. In your opinion, how are they going to install this new run game to improve what they did a year ago? What will be the formula that you think changes and adds to what they didn't do a year ago?
Well, I think the idea is to try and, get more help for the offensive line and maybe rely less on them being better physically and just as players. Sometimes Sills, you used to say big guy beat up little guy, good player beat bad, worse player. I don't know if they have that confidence in the O-line to rely on that single-handedly this year. So I think the idea is to get more help for them, open things up a little bit for Saquon Barkley, and maybe open things up more for Jalen Hurts in terms of, can he run the ball more? The run game got clogged up a little bit with all the inside zone. Can they add more variation to get, Saquon out in space a little bit more? I think that's what it comes down to. But, we'll see. I think the run game's a big question, and I think it's obviously extremely important. I mean, to me, it's either the run game and Jalen Hurts running has to be better, or, and I guess this is pretty obvious. I mean, 2 + 2 = 4 here. They have to take massive steps forward in the pass game. Because if they don't do that, it's like, and even if you just ISO it down to Jalen for a second, all right, what does Jalen have to do this year as the quarterback of the team? He's either going to have to take massive steps forward as a passer of the football, or he's going to have to bring back the threat of those legs, and make them consistently there every single game. Those are the two ways I think, one or the other, he has to improve on. So I think that's a part of the run game as well. I don't know what that will look like yet, but we'll see. I still have questions because John doesn't necessarily, and I don't know what you think, John doesn't necessarily believe that Saquon fits what they're trying to do in the run game. I think Saquon's pretty talented enough to be like, for example, he's not a LeGarrette Blount to me. You know what I mean? Like he's that one-dimensional. Maybe he has better strengths that could be accentuated in other ways, but I think he's pretty versatile as a back. So we'll see what he's able to do in it.
Is this a fair statement to say to you here? You think Jeremiah Trotter pushes Jahad Campbell for playing time?
I don't at all.
So you're going to leave that kid on the bench?
I mean, they don't like 3 backers on the field.
Right.
I don't know how much, depending on, I guess, how good Campbell gets in coverage, maybe you could have more 3-backer looks, but I doubt that. And then the other part is, I mean, one's a 5th-round pick, one's a 1st-round pick, dude. Like, it's not always a meritocracy in the NFL. It's just
it is with Vic, though.
It has been, but, he says it in almost every presser. I'm at the mercy of Howie. He knows it. He makes sure everybody else knows it. And I think Campbell's going to be just fine. I mean, I think the thing with Trotter is actually more about next year because Davis and Carter are paid, right? Cooper and Quinion are going to get paid. Do you continue to pay Bond into his 31-year age season, or do you look for Trot to become the Mike linebacker, the green dot, that prototypical traditional backer, kind of like what Nakobe was, and then you let Jahad Campbell become what Bond was in the last couple of years? So I think it's more for future. I don't think it's about this year, but I'm super pumped for Jeremiah Trotter Jr. because that's sheer will, want to, work ethic, desire, heart. you can tell how hard that guy's working, and it's showing on the field. So well done by him.
I'm going to say something that you say I have a tough time saying. I was wrong. Boy, I'll tell you what, bro. This Jalen Hunt kid is impressive.
I think a lot were wrong on him.
Bro, he's impressive the way he fucking talks. He's impressive the way he plays. I made a bold prediction that I believe he's going to have more sacks than Jonathan Grenard. And he's due for an extension at the beginning of or at the end of this year.
At the end.
What are you going to do with him if that guy has 12 to 15 sacks?
Yeah. I mean, now you're talking about 3 massive contracts next summer.
Oh, we're going to get to Jomo in a second here. But what about
Jomo's not paid?
What about Jalen Hunt?
I think you pay him. I mean, to me, it's, I think it's easy to clump a lot of the players together that they pay. But the way I look at it is I think the Eagles budget per position. So in other words, Cooper and Quinion getting paid doesn't necessarily take away from the edge position. Now, it could shift how much money you can allocate to each position. For example, if you planned on paying a slot $10 million and now you have to pay the nickel slot $30 million, that $20 million might have to come, $5 million away from 4 different positions. That might be what you have to do. But they're going to pay an edge rusher. I'm wondering if they're not regretting the Grenard contract, but maybe if they're like, should we have let this play out before we gave him $25 million? We'll see. To me, it's either Nolan or Jay looks is going to get the deal next year. Now, Nolan provides them a little bit of a different thing because he's got the 5th year, so he's got 2 years left, and they could play that out. So, you got 2 years left on Hunt. I don't think that if he plays that good this year, there's no way they let him get to that last year because he'll hit the open market and get money like Milton Williams got. So I think they pay him at the end of the year, but the salary cap better go up $50 million.
Man, and here I added this up, Z. So since Vic Fangio has been the defensive coordinator, I've counted 600, and I probably missed a few. I counted $690 million worth of contracts of players that have been paid either here in Philly or somewhere else. Bro, when you play for that guy, you're getting your bag.
That's unreal. It's unreal. That's
player development out.
That's maybe the best judgment of him, right? Yep. I mean, because they can't always have a number one defense if you don't have a good roster. You're obviously beholden to the GM and to all the other things, but that's amazing. That's freaking amazing how many. And you just mentioned the other guy who's coming up the pike who will probably get a big bag of money as well.
Let's talk about Ajomo. Boy, I'll tell you what. Listening to him, he was highly disappointed that the Eagles have not even approached a conversation with him or his agent about wanting to be part of the future. He even referenced it, and you tell me if I'm wrong, Zander, but he said this, and I'm paraphrasing here. He goes, if there was a deal on the table, there'd be a deal signed. And there wasn't. And so what do you make of that?
He did say, I thought he said that they had some talks.
Okay.
I don't think too many. But I think at the end of the day, I mean, it's just a roster thing. I mean, they paid Jalen and Jordan. I mean, I don't think Morrow is going to get paid here in Philly.
And Grenard.
I think he's going to get paid massive money somewhere else. But look, I like stories like that. I know you don't want to lose great players, but dude's a 7th round pick. He was behind a bunch of 1st round picks on defensive time. 1st round picks, 3rd round picks, 4th round picks. They've had so many defensive tackles come into this building, drafted, signed, you name it. And this 7th rounder plays so good that we're now worried about him not getting a contract going into year 4. Crazy. It's unbelievable what he's done. So I think it's a big tip of the cap to him. I unfortunately do not think he will be playing in Philadelphia after this year. And I don't think that's a knock on him at all. Sometimes the cookie crumbles the wrong way for players like that. And Godspeed to him, because I think if he has a big year, he's going to get 30 plus on the open market. Not only shows is he a great defensive tackle, but He's a pass rushing defensive tackle. That's what people covet in a big way and pay big money to. So we will see what he gets, but yeah, I don't think he's going to get paid here, unfortunately.
Okay, so let me get this right. Clint Hurt got Josh Sweat paid.
Your boy Clint Hurt is like this guy is starting to put together an incredible resume.
Listen to this. Milton Williams, Josh Sweat got paid. Jordan Davis got paid. Jalen Carter got paid. Mario Jones developing into a frontline guy who could maybe command $25 million. Even that kid Young behind is looking like he's a football player. I mean, dog, how is that guy not a coordinator somewhere in the NFL?
Oh, he will be. Oh, he will be.
I mean, I'm hoping that he's the heir apparent. Like we heard that because he got offered that Miami job and he didn't take it. And all of a sudden he went back to Philadelphia. I mean,
I wonder if there's some politicking coming up in the future here, because I bet you teams are going to want him. And the Eagles, I know the Eagles are going to want him after Vic goes. But hey, is Vic like, hey, I want another year? And the Eagles are like, shit, we're going to lose Clint Hurt. I don't think they would choose Clint over Vic, obviously.
No.
But you do wonder if they would say, hey, Vic, I mean, if you're thinking about retiring, let us know, because we got to keep Clint Hurt. Now, I don't think that would happen, but he'll be a defensive coordinator soon. Remember, he was a DC in Seattle, and I don't think he did that bad of a job. That was just a tough situation for him, because now, if I'm not mistaken, that was the end of the Pete Carroll era, right? So not a great situation for him, but yeah, you're right. I mean, the track record that dude's putting on right now, and like, it's one thing for Carter to be on your track record, because Carter had the pedigree. You got Ajomo and Milton. These are guys that really weren't ever expected to become frontline guys. Byron Young. I mean, you know what the final feather in the cap would be if Uar Bernard can even contribute to a football team in the NFL.
Or if Robinson turns out to be somebody.
Yeah, but Tyler's a 4th-round pick. I mean, you're talking about a 7th-rounder that's never played the game of football, So then from the Nigerian program or whatever it is. So that would be insane if Uar Bernard can do something in the next couple of years.
Who do you think's done a better job with their position, Bobby King or Clint Hurt?
I think Clint, because Bobby has a lot of help from Vic, who has buttered his bread on linebackers. That's kind of Vic's forte. So I'm not saying Bobby hasn't done a nice job. I just think, it's
Vic's forte.
Yeah, that's a two-pronged setup right there. And I think Clint Hurt has really, handled the frontline defensive tackles and done a sick job at it.
Do you agree with this or disagree with this, Zander? I think that Vic's coaching of Cooper DeJean, I don't think he coaches him like a safety. I think he coaches him like a linebacker. And I think the way he plays in the middle of the field, how great a tackler he is, he's like a linebacker version of a safety.
Yeah.
But he's so skilled and so gifted as an athlete. He can play outside. And if you had put him outside on the corner, he kind of coaches him like a linebacker, no? And he's got that linebacker mentality in the way he plays. His influence is all over. I mean, you notice the one guy he never talks about in practice? Quinyon Mitchell. It's like Q's got the whole right side of the field all to himself. No one ever mentioned.
Yeah, but still, there used to be.
He's so great.
That's what I mean. There used to be a saying in hockey: the best defensemen on the ice are the defensemen that you never hear a word about. Those are the best defense, because they never get beat, they never give up bad plays, they never, you know what I mean? Those are the best. So I think that's kind of the case with Q. I think what's emerging on Cooper is, I think we have to drop the comps to nickel corner pay and start to compare him to guys like Derwin James, Kyle Hamilton, and even maybe like a Budda Baker in a way. Kyle Hamilton's one of those, physical, disruptive guys that plays in the backfield, but he kind of plays physically like a linebacker. Derwin James, same thing. So I forget what those two guys are making. I think 25 million plus, but I'm thinking that's where Cooper's going to be at least. I'm looking Derwin, Kyle, and Cooper are going to be kind of perceived the same way, in my opinion.
Are you more concerned about the safety position or your wide receiver position outside of Devontae?
I'm more concerned about wide receiver because I think the safety position obviously doesn't have the level of talent. in terms of, they don't have really a frontline guy even like the receivers have Devontae, but they have a better support system in terms of Vic and that whole defense, that defensive line, those cornerbacks, the linebackers. I mean, every part of that defense is humming, as opposed to the wide receivers. I think they have to not survive on their own, but they're a big part of, they're the crux point of the passing offense. So they are holding, they're carrying a bigger pail of water to me, and they have to be able to do it. So that's where my concern would lie more.
I asked you this question last week, and I want to revisit it. You think you have explosion players on offense?
I think Devontae is. I think Saquon is. You obviously can't call Lemon yet and Wicks yet. Hollywood Brown has the potential for sparse explosion plays, not like a consistent guy, but maybe like a deep shot here and there, that type of threat. But outside of that, no. I mean, I would call Jalen an explosion play guy, but he hasn't really been that the last couple years. So I think he more has to show that this year. But I think Smitty is, and I think Saquon are for sure.
I want you to rank, if you're a coordinator, who scares you the most. You going into this football game against the Commanders, rank the top three guys.
Saquon one.
Saquon one.
Yeah, guys have the run game. Probably Devontae Smith 2, and then Goddard 3.
Okay. So they're going to go after Devontae, double teaming him. They're going to try, like we said last week, they're going to try to flood the lanes on Barkley again. Isn't that the same game plan they had a year ago?
Yeah. That's why they have to prove that they're, even if it's not, prolific and over the top, they have to prove that when defenses are going to put them in that coverage, they have to be able to beat it in other ways. You have to use the middle of the field. That's why I like the idea of these bootlegs with Jalen can roll out a little bit and maybe dump that ball off to Goddard underneath or get Lemon underneath. They have to do that. And there's ways to do that don't require you to, craft up this complex look where Jalen has to thread the needle on some crazy throw. Make it simple. Simplify the game. Give them dump downs. Give them check downs. Give them things underneath where you make the defense pay based on what they're showing you. I mean, Sills, you talk about it all the time. Brady is obviously one of the greatest football players of all time, but dude, he didn't always make the hard play.
No.
In fact, it was rare. I mean, he did most of his work just looking, dissecting what the defense is doing, and taking what he's been given.
Yep.
So I think that's what they have to do, because it forces defenses, to have to change up the way they play, and they can't stick to their game plan. That's what made Brady so good. It was, all right, you want to take away the check down? Boom, I'll beat you here. You want to take away that? I'll kill you in the check down all game. You want to take away the deep ball? I'll dink and dunk you every single time. You want to take away the dink and dunk? I'll beat you over the top. That's what they did so well. So I think the Eagles offense has to do more of that this year, where it's not, we're either going to beat you this way or you're going to beat us that way, and that's the end of it. It has to be a chess match, a little bit of, if a defense takes this, we take this, and then see who adjusts, and that's where the chess match begins.
Let's see if we can get people in here up to 700 on all the platforms in here. We're working on it here, and I appreciate you guys coming back here as we're getting ready for the football season. Did I hear you right over the weekend, Zander, say this to John? It looks like they're practicing more of those checkdowns. Did I hear him say that? They're throwing
that's what it was reported, after day 3. I didn't hear much of them today. I saw somebody wrote, I think it was either Zangaro or might have been BLG, that they're checking the ball down more. So, yeah.
You think that's going to be part of the offensive attack and more tight end use this year? You think that's where they're going to try to improve when it comes to having high-quality throws? And this goes down the lane of what Nick likes, that risk-averse. What's the easiest pass to make? Checkdowns and tight end throws.
Yeah.
Made Brady a 7-time Super Bowl. We just got through saying that, and you said it.
Right.
You think that's where it improves off the numbers, more to the middle of the field? Because I heard they're throwing more to the middle of the field too.
Yeah, and I think that has to do with what we just discussed, with where you have to just make, if they're going to, for example, last year the defenses had a very simple approach. I mean, they bracketed the receivers on the outside, and they stacked the rest of the people in the box to take away the run game. And it forced the defense or the Eagles offense to just in horrible looks, no consistency, halves of football where they couldn't complete a pass. I mean, it was miserable. They had no ability to adjust and beat them in different ways. So I'm not sure that they're going to become a check down team or an over the middle team, but I think what they're working on is making sure that they're capable and ready to take advantage when a defense gives you a clear and obvious look. We're taking away the outside the numbers. We're stacking the box so Saquon can't kill us. Okay, good. We're going to do this, and then we're going to force you to adjust, and that's when we'll get back to our bread and butter. So I think it's more about that. They have to do it successfully, obviously, and consistently and effectively, but I think it's about that. I don't think it's actually about them becoming that team. Now, maybe circumstances dictate they do become that team, but I think it's more about having it in the toolbox to be able to shift to it. If you show up to a job and you got one tool in the box, you're limited versus you got a whole truck filled with every tool, from the Home Depot, you're going to be able to take on anything, and I think that's what they need to do. They need more tools in the box, Hills.
Boy, I'll tell you what, and this is going to be a storyline, Z, and I know a lot of people don't want to hear it. A.J. Brown is torturing Christian Gonzalez in camp.
No, he's not.
He's fucking torturing.
No, he's not.
He's torturing him.
He's been clamped up.
Handed catches behind the back. He's just fucking killing that kid.
Bum knee is killing him. Gonzalez is all over him.
Torturing Christian Gonzalez, man. And then I watched Mekhi Lemon limping around, missing practice, and there's AJ going one-handed catches. Christian Gonzalez in the end, bro, I got to tell you, I'm going to have a lot of fun with that. Because let me tell you, that guy is going to have an insane year this year. I think
he's going to have a good year, but I'm not going to sit here and act like him having camp success is something that,
he is torturing.
Sileo, come on, Sil.
He is torturing Christian Gonzalez right now. Man, you got to take a look at what he's doing. He looks spectacular.
Unbelievable.
Hey, man, I'll tell you what, though, dude. I got to say this, man. I mean, look, I think going against Vic Fangio's defense, I think it's probably the best thing ever to happen to Sean Mannion. And Sean Mannion even addressed it on Saturday, didn't he? Yeah. Because it's a challenge every single time to go out there and go against Vic. And Vic even said there's a lot more moving parts. I mean, I don't know. You got 41 days. Are you still feeling comfortable they'll have it installed by game day against the Commanders?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's always a challenge, especially because the CBA has legislated so much practice out of it in the offseason. So it's become harder and harder to implement and change things up and change schemes and all those things. But I'm of the belief that great players in practice is a great thing. When you're practicing against a great defense, it's great. One of the reasons that I used to always say, or at least believe, I don't know if I was right, but it was my belief, was why Alabama was so good in college during the peak of the Nick Saban era was, I mean, their second team guys were better than a lot of other teams' first team guys. So they go out there on Sunday or Saturdays and they're like, yeah, I mean, Alabama's defense is a lot better than you guys. And I've been trying to get by on them all week. I've always believed that. And so even you, I mean, in the 80s in Miami, it was harder for you to play against Miami in practice than it was to play against another team in the ACC or whenever you were in back then,
Independent.
Right. Independent. Right. So whoever you were playing, but the point remains.
You're right.
So I think it's a great thing for the offense that they have to play versus this defense. Could be frustrating at times.
It is.
Right. Because you're hard to see success.
Yeah.
But I think there's a lot more good to that than bad for sure.
Dude, my toughest games were during the week, not on Saturdays.
Yeah, I believe
they were never, because I'm playing against first round draft choices. Yeah. Dude, watch this. We're scrimmaging inside drill. I got Vinny Testaverde. I got a number 3 pick in the draft and the running back. I got Michael Irvin over here, and the entire offensive line is drafted in the first 3 rounds. And I got Jerome. It's ones versus ones. And dude, you got into a game. Those teams don't have those guys. And so it does make you better. Absolutely. What's Sean Mannion's biggest obstacle first half of the season, in your opinion?
First half of the season, I think his biggest obstacle is himself. Not only are you trying
Explain.
to,
What do you mean?
well, he's never done this before.
Correct.
I mean, you're worried about, obviously doing it
The
successfully.
newness.
The newness is that's for Jalen Hurts and the players. The whole thing is new for Sean Mannion. He has to figure out what it was to call plays, how the flow of a game works, what crunch time situation means, how to dial up the right plays in third and long and crunch time in the 2-minute offense. Late in the fourth quarter, you're down a touchdown. How to use Jalen Hurts to his strengths. I think the toughest challenge for him is himself. Not that I don't have confidence in him, but anybody in the chat, go do something you've never done before. And then do it again, and then do it a second time. I guarantee the second time you do it, you're better than the first time you do it. Natural. It doesn't matter what it is. So I think that's just a very real human nature part of it for Sean Mannion, where you can be the offensive genius. You can know everything about your offense. You can know every play call in the book. But until you hold that play sheet, until the play clock is ticking down, and until you're talking to Jalen Hurts, play in and play out, you can't simulate that. You can't practice that. So I think that's going to be the biggest challenge for them.
See, I need you to do me a favor. I need you to walk me off the ledge here a little bit on something here. And I'm going to need your help here on walking me off the ledge. You ready? Because I'm a little concerned about something here. All right. And so you help me on this. So you're really going to go into an NFL season with guys who have had the pedigree and the success. And on August 3rd, you're telling me this is going to take time and that you've wobbled through a couple practices. You had a good day today, it seems. We'll know more later on when John goes on with Zander on Birds 365. So you help me not get a little nervous here that you got 41 days to install this bullshit and you're going to be hitting on all cylinders, as M. Reyes would say.
Well, first off, we're going into what? What is September, Sileo?
Oh, that's Liars Month. I understand.
Okay, right. So you got a bullshit 4 weeks where you got an opportunity to learn and grow and self-scout, and then you have to have things ramped up by Thanksgiving. I mean, Tom Brady used to say it. Bill Belichick used to say it. This season starts after Thanksgiving, where you really, you got to play your best football late. All right. So I'm not concerned one iota. All right, about that. They're professionals. They're NFL guys. They're obviously paid to do these things well, and they're held to a high standard. And I believe that they will do it well and do it effectively. And if they won't, I'm sure you'll be hearing from us right here on the program.
What's Jalen's biggest obstacle this year?
What they're asking him to do differently. It seems as though they're asking Jalen to become a version of himself he hasn't yet been in the NFL. I think he's capable of doing it, but I think there is a curve to that. And, is it more legs for him? Is he running?
Why do you think he's capable of doing this? Why do you think he's capable?
Because every time I've ever seen Jalen Hurts in his career, and this goes to me too, every time he's been put in a spot where it's show up or get sent out, he shows up. Now it doesn't always look pretty, but he finds a way to get it done. He did it when he was benched at Alabama, and he went over to Oklahoma and ran a completely different offense. Now, it was the Big 12, and defenses don't exist, but I've seen it before. In 2021, after his first year starting, the Eagles tried to pick up Deshaun Watson and Russell Wilson. They were deep in talks for both of those guys, trying to trade for him. Jalen comes out and I think delivers one of his best years as a pro. Damn near gets MVP, throws the ball all over the place, RPOs, did whatever it took. Now, last couple years, I think another more questions have emerged on him, especially with the contract looming. And I've been down this road where I've doubted him, and I'm not going to do it yet. I'm not going to put a ceiling on the guy. All right. If he doesn't do it, we'll be here to talk about it on JAKIB Sports. But I'm not going to be the one to tell you or tell Jalen what he can and cannot do. I think he's capable of doing it. Will he be able to at a high level and consistently? That's the question, and that's the that's what only he can answer.
See, to me, it's like asking a Olympic diver to become a backstroke champion when you're asking a skill set to change. It's not that I don't think the guy is a good football player. What I don't think is when you're asking somebody to do something that you're not comfortable doing. Sean Mannion said it to, Saturday. Here's the exact words. And what doesn't this contradict everything they're doing with Hurts? Here's his words here. My job is to find plays that give Jalen confidence and that the quarterback likes. Well, how can you construct a game plan around something the guy's never done to find out?
Well, I mean, come on. He's been playing football a long time. He's done a lot of this.
Yeah, but he's never been in a West Coast offense in his entire career.
Not in the NFL, no. I think he did run a little bit of it before. He's certainly seen a lot of it. I'm sure he's watched enough.
A little bit Oklahoma, but that's a little bit of West.
Yeah. So, I mean, I think it's part of the evolution in life. You have to grow. You have to evolve no matter what position you're in. And I think Jalen's embraced that. And, the other thing is somebody told me a long time ago that in life, you have to always remain teachable, because if you close yourself off to being teachable, you close yourself off to the opportunity for growth. Now, that doesn't mean everything you get taught is a good thing, but you have to have a high teachability index. And I believe Jalen does have that. And he's got to grow that confidence. And over time, that'll come. And I'm not going to be the one to count him out, man. I'll let you do that, Sills.
No, I want to see it. Oh, no.
I get it. All right, a couple supers. We got JAKIB coming up. You ready, or you got any more questions?
Let's go. Nope, got it.
All right, here we go. John says, if I see Kellen Moore of a top 10 offense or Sean simplify the offense, it's a done deal. Hurts is gone. All the answers are there.
Boy, Kellen Moore. Boy, you're hearing a lot of people this offseason saying great things about what.
They're my pick. They're my pick in the South. I've been saying it. The Saints. Ant-Man says, don't act like you're in a Jomo guy now. You never thought much of him when people said he replaced Milton well.
Did I? I don't remember that, but if I did, I did.
Well, I mean, to be fair to Sills, Jomo at the time hadn't proven as much. I mean, he had a good year. Things changed. Takes change. Kimberly says, if Woolen is great, he's a rental too. Yeah, but Kim, I mean, come on. We're going to have Cooper, Quignon. I mean, you got the defensive tackles lined up. You got linebackers. They already had enough good linebackers. They're going to try to figure out a cap situation there. I mean, Kimberly, they won a Super Bowl a couple years ago. Who was the second? I guess it was Quignon and Slay. But Slay was a little bit of a mercenary that year. He was in and out of games. So here's Junito. Feels good to talk about football.
Yes.
What up, Sills? Yes, it does.
Yes.
We've been doing it all summer. Kimberly says, it concerns me that Lemon said publicly he's having trouble understanding the offense. Major concern.
He said that in OTAs, I believe. If that, I haven't heard him say that in camp yet.
I don't know. I didn't catch it. I think he spoke either today or on Saturday.
Oh, wow. Okay.
I'm not sure if he said that though, Kim. You got to clarify.
Okay.
Walkell said, can't wait for your coverage on game days this year, Bill K. Bill, thank you for the super chat, man. Appreciate that $10.
You.
Here's Christopher. What's up, Christopher? Nick is the obstacle. If they're 1-3 or 2-2 through first few games and Jalen isn't throwing the ball well, they're scrapping Mannion's crap. Scapegoat loaded.
I don't know, man. I think you've made too many personnel decisions and changes just to scrap that.
They don't have the fallback they had.
No way, man. And by the way, you know what the fallback will be, Zander? If Barkley's back to 24.
Well, we'll see. I mean,
Am I right when I say that? If Barkley looks anything like 20,
that's your fallback, but that's depending on a lot of factors, in my opinion.
Yeah, I agree.
Barkley's not running like 24 if the offensive line's not blocking like 24.
Absolutely. So. All right, so Birds 365 right after the program, correct?
Yes, sir. 6 to 8 p.m. we will be on Birds tonight. Appreciate yourselves.
You bet, man. I'll see you later. Love you, man.
Later, dude.
Man. Gotcha, bro. That is Big Z. Oh, by the way, I love the fact that we're going to get two different perspectives. JAKIB was out there, too, for training camp for Fox 29. and also John McMullen will be on later on. Is this normal for these NFL players getting injured going into camp? I'll tell you exactly what Gary Cobb and I have been trying to tell you guys. Guys that go into training camp, they don't have what Gary and I had. You know what that is? You had 3.5 months worth of two-a-days. And your body was prepped and ready to rock when you got into a regular season. And the OTAs and the mini camps, those just weren't like, well, we'll kind of only practice an hour. Dude, those were 3.5-hour practices. Those OTAs, I mean, back then you didn't have time limits on practice. Coach, keep your ass out there for 3 hours. Those OTAs and mini camps were a little bit different than what they have negotiated now with the collective bargaining agreement. All right, so let's do this, and let's go over to our friend from Fox 29, JAKIB, and get his thoughts. It's been a very interesting week, and we will start with it here. And I guess there was a pretty good day. And before I say anything, Gary, just your takeaways on what you've seen so far in the first week of camp.
Well, you kind of had some back and forth with regards to the offense and the defense. Like today, I thought the offense was outplayed the defense today. The first day of camp, I thought the offense won that too. But in between those days, the defense has been dominant and everything. And in a lot of ways, if I would say, I'd probably say the defense has an edge. And it's something I expected, which is the offense is learning a new system. Now, I do like a lot of the things I'm seeing where they really come out and they put the defense, they make guys have to communicate. And like before a play, everybody doesn't hear everybody. Guys are trying to communicate defensively. They're going to make the defense have to communicate because they'll come out, one guy shifts, a running back shifts over here, then motion back. And then sometimes they do short motion. Sometimes it's a long motion. And it's something they didn't do last year. They're going to do it this year. That is a part of the offense where they'll get out there quickly too. And, the formation they start out in is not the formation that they're going to end up in. So the defense is going to have to communicate, whoever playing against them. And they're showing a lot of things. A motion, behind the quarterback, where even when he's in a set where he's deep, they still times have be showing all kind of looks where they could run like a throwback or whatever. They show a lot of things. I mean, that's one thing is this is an offense that is going to show them a lot of looks. They are running back shifting out to a wide receiver position, then shifting back and then getting the handoff, So from that standpoint, he definitely he's doing that. I wanted to see them do that last year because last year they just get out in formation, never put any pressure on the defense from that standpoint because guys make mistakes. And a lot of times during a situation where you got people going in motion, guys miscommunicate where guys said, I thought you said this and you said something else. The guys on the defense. So they're going to be shifting. And then the other thing they'll do is they'll come out and boom, they're snapping the ball and everything. So they give you different looks with regards to all of that. I do like the fact that they're throwing the ball over the middle. They're running routes where they're getting the ball and Jalen's throwing over the middle a lot more than he has in the past. But it's the kind of situation where I could see where, the offense is still, they're putting in stuff every day. And you could see, though, that the Eagles have a good defense. I mean, those guys up front with Jalen Carter, with Jordan Davis, and then Jalix Hunt, man. He's been coming off that corner, man.
Hey, you're talking about another guy. You're talking about another guy you may have to give a bag at the end of this year.
That's right. Now he's a guy who I don't know what.
Gary, are you surprised with how fast he's picking his game up? since he's been drafted, because remember, he was a project, dude.
That's right.
And everyone was like, this guy's 3-4 years away. Shit. Every 3 games, this guy's getting better and better and better and better. I mean,
Yeah.
I've already got this guy earmarked to have a better season than Nolan Smith. I even think he may have more sacks than Jonathan Grenard this year. I mean,
He may because he's been the most effective pass rusher. He and Carter. Carter, of course, creates problems inside and everything, but coming around the corner, man, Jalen Hurts, has an outstanding camp. I mean, there've been 2 days where he just has been unblockable, man. The dude is, really, really doing a great job of pressure off the corner, and he's been beating whoever they put over there. So now I will say this, that he was taking advantage of the guys they put over there, because Lane Johnson, he's missed a couple of days,
Are you concerned? Are you oh, is it personal? Okay, all right.
Yeah. He wasn't here. Something he had to do or something. I don't know what it is, but he wasn't there. And when he wasn't there, Jalen Hurts just destroying whoever else they put over there.
Hey, Gary, do you think that Jeremiah Trotter is going to push Jihad Campbell for playing time?
Now that I don't know, because Jihad, he missed the day because he graduated from Alabama, so he wasn't there. That's gonna be interesting to see if they open the door for that. But he's looked good out here. I mean, Trotter, but he always, because he's a smart player. He knows what the teams want to do and everything, and he's you can see, of course he wants to play. I don't know if they'll do that, but if it comes to just playing, he's been one of the best players out here. When they put him in there, he's made plays, his interceptions, getting his hands on the ball. He knows the defense backwards and forwards. He's a smart guy. So they could give him an opportunity to try to play. I don't know if they'll do that, though. I don't know. We'll have to wait and see, because really, he's shined, more than any of the linebackers that have been out here. He's had the best camp.
I got a question for you here, and I just had a conversation with Zander about this, and it's funny, when the Eagles made a move at coordinator, whoever it was, I never heard the players talking about terminology one time, because they kept the same terminology with Kellen Moore.
Mm-hmm.
They weren't talking about terminology. They weren't talking about anything, because they were on the same page.
Correct.
The one thing that I'm hearing now with all these players in the first week, hey, we're learning the new terminology. We're learning what they're saying to us.
That's right.
I tried to explain this earlier to people, going, that's like teaching Portuguese players German on how to install a defense.
Yeah.
Why wouldn't you have, you got 2 guys. You got the run coordinator, Mahaffey, and you've got Mannion. Why wouldn't those guys conform to what those guys knew what a slip block was, or a fan block? Why wouldn't they change? Why do they want the players with the success to change and the coordinators with no success to change?
Well, this is a situation where they, and they talked about this at length, about the whole, like a lot of the players, especially the offensive line, guys talking about the change in the verbiage. Now, what Sean Mannion has said is that he likes to have offense that right away, have a terminology that it flows. The guys understand.
Universal.
What's that?
Universal, like everyone knows it, right?
Yeah, he does. And it's got to be something that everybody, it clicks with them, So it's a big part of everything they do. Because, with different adjustments and things, but they're trying to make it something that the guys could have, there's some type of meaning to it, where it's not just words. So
I want you were with me on this. See, this is why people like this don't understand this here. So, you remember when we were in Cowboy camp and we were in Thousand Oaks, and remember what the coaches did that were with Jimmy, like Dave Wanstead, because Dave was a linebacker coach.
Yeah.
Remember they brought all the Miami Hurricane tapes in, and they were trying to show all the Cowboy guys technique and what they were wanting to do. I was sitting next to Ed Jones, and Ed Jones was saying, I want to try to do that thing in a 3 technique that Sileo's doing, because when you slide the defense, my point is that all of these guys are being taught something different now that they haven't been taught, because it's different technique.
Correct.
It's different verbiage.
Yes.
You and I went through this together when Jimmy got the job in Dallas.
Yeah.
Before you left for Philly. So my point is, how hard and how difficult is that for players that have been established to pick something up new and try to implement it? Because to me, this looks more like a finesse in what they're trying to do with these stretch runs and all this other stuff that they haven't done before.
Well, it's been a major step. The offensive line have talked about it. They say they're it's starting to flow some with them and everything, but it's been a lot of study, where they have to make sure they get everything right, because
right on.
There is so much. I mean, the changes are vast. It's not just a little bit of change. But the thing they're trying to do is to make it where there's meaning, where if they change a word and the guys are able to have something that's going to flow, so they kind of understand. But all of them had talked about it. Every offensive lineman that's come out there and said anything, he's saying, they have to study. They have to make sure they get everything right. But he said the thing they like about it, though, is all of them have praised Sean Mannion because they like the system, that it makes sense. Different things that they didn't used to do that they're going to do now. Like they're going to be really getting into play action pass. I mean, like when it's a play action where you're attacking that defensive, the whatever, tackle or end. And of course, you don't want to get downfield, but you're going to get close to it because you want to make him think this is a run. So they want to, they're going to be blocking as if it's the run. The same blocking system they have when it's a running play, it's a lot like it. So that's where they talk about how it creates problems for the defense. And right away, that first day, the defense was talking about, things. It didn't look the same. I mean, it looks like a run. So they're thinking, and all of a sudden it's play action pass, So they create problems for the teams they're going to be playing because of the technique of everything. And that's what they've been talking about. They've been talking about the verbiage. It's a change with everything. And there are a lot of things they have to learn. And they have to get it to where they know it like the back of their hand because, you're hearing this, whatever call is, you got to know what you're supposed to do and everything. But they really have been getting into the this whole system and everything. But the defense have expressed, the fact that it creates problems for the defense. It's hard to read. It's hard to read. It's not like, where guys just take a step. You can look, because I know I used to look at the tackles a lot of times with, they're going to show you that, hey, that's a pass play, man, because they're tired. They're not breaking their neck to try to give you a run look when they got to block this guy. So, they've been talking about it, but this is a change. And I tell you what, all the play action pass and all the stuff and all of the changes with the motions and everything, this is a completely different offense. And
do you think that Jeff Stoutland was antiquated in his coaching techniques, and that's what's being expressed here? Because it sounds to me, with all the glazing going on, that the way you're taking it and the way I'm hearing it is that Stoutland was coaching a system that needed to be upgraded. Because I mean, how could you not take it that way? That Jeff's way was not the right way, even though the resume speaks contrary to that.
Yeah. Well, I guess in a way that's what they're saying, that This is the upgraded system. This is the system that the Rams run. You know, they got a lot of things from the Rams. The 49ers, a lot of similarities.
So I
Because
guess
of,
the proof will be in the pudding this coming
right.
season.
The proof is gonna be in the pudding. We're gonna see, but
Okay.
it is borrowing from all those teams. You know, and there's one other team, the Packers. You know, where he came from. So you got those three systems, and
Okay.
you know, to be fair, I mean, those teams have been doing a lot of winning. So, but they are changing. You know, a lot of change. You know, from and it's pretty much dramatic. So, I guess in a roundabout way, yeah, those guys are really saying, you know, that, you know, they're fascinated with the way they're doing a lot of things. So we'll see if it, you know.
Oh no, that's right, because W's and
we'll see.
L's, W's and L's are the only way you're going to say whether
That's
or
right.
not.
But I tell you, they do have glowing things to say about the system. Like every offensive lineman that's got up there, you know,
Yep.
they're talking about the system and everything. Like I said, you hit it on the head. If
Hey,
you're not winning.
Listen, I'll tell you what, you hear everybody glazing over it, but the only difference between what Stoutland has done and what these guys are saying, Stoutland's got W's and L's next to his.
Yeah.
These guys we have to wait and see how this plays out.
We got to wait and see. That's right. And, you know, we will see. But, yeah, the guys were glowing. They gave all the glowing talk and stuff about it. So, but we'll see. And, you know, defensively, you know, I think the Eagles are going to, they got a good defense. And they know what they're doing. They know this system. And the thing I like is that these guys are going after the ball because they need turnovers. And, you know, they got a good secondary. And those guys, you know, are getting better. And, you know, because really the number one guy who was I talking about? Kenyon. You know, Kenyon Mitchell is a great cover guy. He's getting better with catching the ball when he gets opportunities, you know, to pick the ball off. But he's as good a cover guy as there is in the league. And I like the fact that, obviously, I think he's been working on catching that ball because he's been doing that out here in the workouts.
Hey, Gary, give me a little insight here on Vic's history here, if you can. Does Vic's too high safety lead to a ton of turnovers, or is that something that maybe, because look at Q. Q might be considered the best player on that defense next to Jalen Carter. You can make the argument, you know, that he's one of the top three corners, and you easily make that argument. He's one of the top three corners, but does Vic's system hold that back a little bit because it is too high? You're off the ball. You're in zone most of the time. And that's not going to create a lot of turnovers in that style of defense. Is that just the style of defense, or do you think, again, that this defense is capable? Because can you imagine Vic Fangio's defense with high turnovers? If you had high turnovers on that defense, because to me, it doesn't seem like it's a really aggressive defense. Because aggressive defense is like, they're the ones that really have the high turnover. Am I wrong when I say that?
Well, you know, I would say that, yeah, you know, he does, you know, from a standpoint that he doesn't like to give up the deep ball. Now, that is true. I mean, he's jumping to that too high safety. You're right. He doesn't like to give up deep ball. But he does, you know, he's open for guys, you know, if they read something, go after it. You know, and they've been getting their hands on the ball more out here, I think, this year than I've seen, you know, I've ever seen. So he really likes to work with his DBs to where they, you know, of course, anticipate routes because you kind of know what these guys like to do and things. And I think that they're even more comfortable in the defense. They're getting more and more comfortable in what they're doing. So because they do give the corners, you know, chances where, you know, they got help deep. So, you know, you can go after it. I mean, you know, you know, you don't have to worry about that deep ball. So if you get an opportunity, and that's the big thing, that the next step with Mitchell is taking this step, and with the big guy on the other side, what's his name?
Tariq Woolen, man, he looked. Now he's built like a linebacker. Corners. He's built like a linebacker, dude.
He is a big corner. You're right. But the thing I will give them credit for is he gets opportunities to get his hands on the ball, just like Q. And I think that they are going to get they're going to get some picks, because you can see that they're so good in coverage that times they're running a guy's route and then it's a matter of going after the ball. And that's something Q hasn't done. He's just knocking the ball down rather than look. If you get a chance to catch the football, of course, catching it rather than knocking down is huge, because the turnovers are so important in the game. So I think that they've been emphasizing that, and we'll see. I expect more turnovers, more interceptions from those guys this year. So, you know, and they got the talent. I mean, because this is the best group of corners in the league. There's no way, it's not even close. I mean, they've got some guys really can cover. These three guys they got, man, they can cover.
Hey, Gary, you know, one thing I'll say about, you know, what you're hearing in camp, and you tell me, I know it's way too early, but man, Mekhi Lemon just does not look the role yet. I mean, you know, you're looking at him, and I'm not calling him Jalen Reagor or any of that, because it's so early.
Yes, early,
Okay, but
yeah,
you know, when you saw Devontae Smith on the field for the first day, you went, "Yep, okay," like, yeah, and you knew it. Now, hard to be compared to that guy because he was so accomplished when he came out of college and he was ready to rock. Okay,
yeah.
What's your concern level on Lemon? Because not a lot of high praise right now about the kid, and the kid kind of looks like he's a little bit confused out there from reports are, and you tell me if I'm wrong on what others are saying on him.
Well, I know he's been banged up a bit, you know, so.
And did he missed a little practice today too, from what I understand?
He did miss a little bit. Well, you know, I see him catch the ball, see him got opportunity. Of course, at times, you know, you can see him get covered, where you got somebody running with him and everything, because he's not a blazer. He's quicker than fast. He's quick. So his change of direction is way he gets open. And but we'll see. I think it's still kind of early. But you know, he's going to have to show. I mean, he's got his work cut out for him, no doubt about that. But I wouldn't say that I could make an assessment to say that he's he's not going to be able to get it done, because
no.
I have, you know, but he doesn't have the blazing speed. He doesn't, you know, he's a little guy. He's not big at all. So he's got to get open, you know, like when I think of guys that that he would kind of resemble. I think of some of the receivers that Brady was throwing through, some of those guys that were in the slot,
like Amendola like Amendola and Edelman, guys, that.
That's what he's like. He's smart, and he's, you know, that's where he's going to play his game.
Like Welker, Adam Thielen.
That's right. He's not outrunning guys. He's got to beat them with quickness and toughness, catching the ball over the middle, taking hits, you know, and getting open. And that's really his game, because he's not a blazer, and he's not that big, you know. So we will see, you know, but I wouldn't count him out yet, because the thing that I did see that he is smart. He understands the system.
So you think he's more of a possession guy?
That's what he is. That's what he is. He is a possession guy. That's right. He's the guy like those guys we just talked about. Third down, getting open there inside, working inside against the linebackers and safeties and everything, on whether it's zone or man-to-man, because he does a good job with his breaks. You know, that's where he gets open. But he's not outrunning anybody. And we saw it. I mean, he ran like, what, 4.5? You know, he's not a 4.4 or 4.3. He's not. He doesn't have that kind of speed, but he is quick and change of direction. So we'll see. I mean, from what I can see, though, you know, he's you know, to be making a living inside, he's got to be tough.
Couple more questions here, Gary.
Yeah.
Do you believe that you'll see the offensive players playing a little bit more in the exhibition season because it's so new? The verbiage is new, or do you think they're going to hold to their guns and they're not going to play, and they're going to use those team organized practices more again as a barometer and a gauge?
Yeah, I would probably say they're going to do that. They're not going to show up their whole hand like the preseason game. I don't think they are. I think they are going to wait to the regular season before those guys are out there. The regular season, you know, I don't think they're going to show everything. I mean, But I'm not. I haven't seen this Mannion with what he wants to do and everything. But the way they talk about everything, I would think they're going to probably try to hold it.
So you're not going to see Jalen at all in the preseason?
I the last couple of years they haven't done much, but maybe they're going to do something. I really don't. I'm not sure though, because I don't know if they feel like, hey, we need to get out there and play a little bit. But of course, you get out there, you start showing your system. You're showing it to everybody. I don't know if they want to do that, but maybe they will. I don't know. And I don't know if Mannion's going to make the call on that, or if it's Nick's going to make the call.
So I want to read you this number here.
But that's going to be a good thing. I wonder if I'm going to see what they're going to do. That's a good one.
How about this one here? Yeah. I added up in the last 2 years going into this year. Vic Fangio has got over $690 million worth of contracts played to defensive football players in the last 2 years. Milton Williams, Josh Sweat, Reed Blankenship, Jordan Davis, Jalen Carter. Jalen Phillips.
Yeah.
Go down the list here of the guys. And God, hey, how about this one? Coming up next year when you got Q and Cooper, this guy in 3 years is going to have nearly $1 billion worth of contracts paid out to guys that have played on that side of the ball.
Hey.
You think this guy's like in the Super Bowl era, and that includes Buddy and Carson and Jim Schwartz and guys like this. You think he's the best coordinator they've ever had when it comes to player development?
He could make I could make that argument. I could see where you could make that argument. Because he definitely gets the best out of his guys. And he gets a lot out. I mean, of course you have some good players and everything, but he's got a great system. And the guys play his system. I mean, the system works. He stops people, frustrates offenses, and when the guys do his system, I mean they produce. I mean, he wins, and so I think he's up there. And there's a confidence the players have in him too. They believe in what they're doing, and he does a great job working with his guys. I mean, you see that he's got a great rapport, develops a relationship with his players, and guy does, and he teaches. He's a great teacher. So he's definitely a guy, headed to the, he'll be in the hall, man. I think, and I think, and they believe in him too. They believe in what he's doing.
Here's the last one here for you. Mm-hmm. I brought this up with Zander. Look at what Clint Hurt has done the last 2 years since he's taken over for Tracy Rocker.
Mm-hmm.
Jordan Davis is a better football player.
Yeah.
Jalen Carter just got paid. Moro Ajomo is going to get paid.
Yeah.
Jalix Hunt is taking off like you wouldn't believe. I mean, if how many years Vic is going to be here is going to be a question, because if you're the Eagles, you don't want Clint Hurt getting out of the building because you want that guy to be the heir apparent on being the defensive coordinator. You think they elevate him to assistant head football coach and put him in that role so that he can't leave and he's the next guy up?
Well, you make the point. He definitely has earned it. I mean, he's gotten production out of all those guys, and they all have. You're right. I mean, they all have grown since the time they've been there. And that whole line.
Milton Williams, Josh Sweat, all these guys got paid.
Yeah,
and that's on Clint.
Yeah. That's very interesting. What are they going to do? Are they going to promote him? That is a great question, because he definitely has done a great job there.
How about Gary?
Joking around.
Gary, I brought up the linebacker coach too. I mean, I brought up Bobby King. Look at the job that he's done there. You're
right.
I mean, Gary, that's got to be the best defensive coaching staff in the NFL and what they have assembled over there. And they just lost Christian Parker to the Cowboys, who's a coordinator now. I mean, that's one of the best defensive coaching staffs in football.
No, you're right. You're right. And the thing is, you got a good staff. People come poaching. So to keep these guys here, but they are going to have to promote somebody, to that job. I know, I don't think Vic is going to be here, but so much longer. Maybe a year or two. Because it did seem like he's maybe thinking about retiring. So I don't know how many years he's going to be if Vic is going to be here. This year and maybe the next year. That's probably going to be it. Probably for him.
Hell, Gary, that's an eternity in the NFL, 2 years, right? Hey, that's an eternity. I'll tell you what, man, it's been an interesting first week, to say the least. I can't wait to see week 2. We got the Hall of Fame game coming up on Thursday, and then we start getting into the exhibition season. So I think that question is going to be interesting, whether or not they play these guys in preseason football, if they think that they need it because of so many changes, right?
Yeah. That's a good point, because we'll see what they do, but that's a good. That's a decision they got to make. We'll see.
You got it, JAKIB. Thank you, brother. I'll see you soon, man.
Have a good one.
That is Gary Cobb. Yeah, should they play him? Should they play him? And like I said, you're asking them to do so many different things, especially in the passing game. Plus, you got to get those other wideouts outside. Dude, my problem with what you have on the other side of Devontae, that affects Devontae Smith's production this year. If you don't have anybody on the other side that's going to be a productive player, or going to be a mediocre productive player, that's going to limit Devontae. Okay? So again, no, I wouldn't play the players. Okay? So September will be Liars Month again. All right, no problem. Here's what I think an old school coach, and we are very SEC team. Most SEC teams play rotation defenses. That's why he was successful here and not in Miami. Let's see here. Vic is the reverse. Well, Vic's going to play his guys. Vic's going to play those defensive players because he wants them to get reps. I'm not suggesting that they're going to play 3 quarters or 2 quarters, but they're going to play because Vic well, guess what? Vic's going to play his guys. I mean, you don't want to put Mekhi Lemon in an NFL game, and you're going to throw him out in an NFL game and go, let's see what you can do. Okay. That'll be interesting. That's an interesting way of coaching a guy. Let's see here. He ran a 4.46 at his pro day. It's not like he's Jason Avant. Well, I would put it here that Mekhi Lemon needs some reps. And I'm not talking Tanner McKee reps. He needs to get reps with the starting quarterback. And by the way, so far from what I understand, Stowers hasn't taken any first-team reps. I heard John McMullen say that. So he hasn't taken any first-team reps, rotated him in at all. Will that guy even get on the field? My bad, Prince. I thought you were saying there's some new injuries. Well, there's a couple new injuries, but not frontline guys. Prince, I get it. And when you start playing from behind, you'll see why no pattern and everything. The entire offense needs repetition. Again, I think this is going to be a conflict for these guys. Okay? That was my point about him saying he didn't understand the playbook. That was at OTAs, but here's the thing. That's a confidence name. How about this, Kim? I just got through saying about different terminology. Everybody in here fought me on it. Mekhi Leonard's learning new terminology. You think it's got to be you think it's a playbook thing? He's not picking it up and not retaining it? That happens. That's why they throw a shitload of plays at you. When it comes to training camp and minicamp, they throw a ton of plays at you. And you actually heard Sean Mannion talked about players have retained a lot of what we did during OTAs. Well, that doesn't seemingly apply. Okay? That doesn't seemingly apply to Lemon. I would like them to play a series or two in the exhibition. Isn't it funny? Andy Reid is going to play 3 exhibition games with Patrick Mahomes. Here, let me double check that. How many exhibition games did Patrick Mahomes play last year? How many exhibition games did Mahomes play in 2025? I'm going to double check. He played 2. Mahomes played in 2 preseason exhibition games for the Chiefs and prepping for the NFL regular season. Sills, I think it depends on how the offense has been doing during camp, joint practices, etc. If they need the reps, they should play a drive or 2 every preseason game. If they look good, then no. I would play offensive starters in preseason. This is not even worth reading. Agreed, but I mentioned this morning that, like Kim is saying, it's the playbook that's giving him trouble. That could, hey, Prince, instead of the routes and the concepts versus the language, that's what I'm talking about, Prince. Verbiage, lingo. Hey, dude, you know the guy knows how to run and route. You know the guy knows how to run a route. He knows how to run a seam. He knows how to run a post. He knows how to do that. Could it be the playbook and the verbiage? Based on videos I see, Lemon might be slow. Prince, he's not slow. He doesn't know where to line up. He's 2 years older than Jalen Hurts, and he's been to 5 Super Bowls and won 3 of them. And 3 MVPs in those games. And he's won 16 postseason games. He's been to 7 out of 8 in his starting career AFC Championship games. Okay. Man. Sills, are any rookies doing well in camp? You may have been right about it being a bad draft class. I didn't say a bad draft class. I said a different draft class. Okay, I didn't say bad. Yeah, it's losing confidence. He doesn't know what he's doing. He's unsure, so he's slowing himself down. Correct. Hey, Prince, when you don't know where you're going and where you're lining up versus when it's second nature, you play fast. Hurts is ancient history. Get this. Hey, Reyes. Well, if Patrick Mahomes is ancient history, so is Hurts. Prince, the headband video was crazy. Lemon definitely isn't the brightest tool in the shed. I wouldn't go there. Mahomes is generational, sees the field like Montana completely. No question about it. One of the most gifted players. He's a guy that's completely untradeable. Lemon had trouble beating man coverage at USC, but he has good hands and he gets yak. How about the fact that Gary Cobb is comparing him to a possession receiver, somebody like an Adam Thielen? Whatever you make of Adam Thielen. Guys, and he said like Amendola or Edelman or Wes Welker. That's who he's comparing him to. Whatever you make of those guys. How do you know that? Gary was out there watching him. I think Mannion needs the reps during the preseason, calling plays, getting a feel for with his starting quarterback and under center, play calling strategy. I like that take. Okay. Well, the good news is if he good against zone, it'll help Jalen out. Jalen sucks against zone. I think Mannion needs the reps during the Yes, you do. Yes, I agree. Who is the Eagles' deep ball threat? I'm waiting. I would probably say it's Hollywood Brown. That's going to be your deep ball threat, or maybe Darius Cooper. Who else would it be? So if Lemon is struggling, bring him along slowly, but I think he has to play in the preseason. And if you throw Lemon out there, he should be working with Hurts, right? Yes. Damn right. If they do it, help feel and gel, because you don't go against so many real teams before the season starts. Cooper is solid. He just doesn't get a damn chance. Of course he's not going to get a chance. You play your draft choices first. Then he'll get the opportunity. See, and there lies the difference too, Maniac, in coaching style. Vic's going to play the best guy. Just like he did with Bryce Huff. He told Bryce Huff, you ain't playing. I don't care you make 17-5. Okay? I don't care you make it. Over on the offensive side, that matters more. I actually think Mahomes doesn't read defenses that well, just as good as the next guy. I think what you don't understand is that Mahomes makes it look seamless. So you think a guy – no, I do think Burrow sees the defense better than what Mahomes does. But I actually think that Mahomes has a better play caller too in Andy Reid. That helps him see the field better. So any deficiencies that Mahomes might have on being able to pick up reads, I don't think a guy that throws for 5,500 yards and 50 touchdowns is a guy who can't read defenses and will go down as one of the greatest quarterbacks in the history of the sport. Let's see. Look at this guy here, man. I love this when he does this. Yeah. 29th ranked passing offense. 4 of the 5 years. Yeah. 4 of the 5 years. He's had one of the worst passing offenses in pro football. I actually threw this topic out. Let's see what you guys think of it. And I'll ask you flat out here. Here was my poll question that I asked about this coming offense this year. In 2026 Eagles passing game, I say we'll be lucky to be 20th. Where do you believe the Eagle passing game will finish in 26? Top 10? Top 20? Bottom 10? Or last? Say it again. The passing offense, which, by the way, has been very underwhelming for the last 5 years. Do you believe that the passing game will be top 10, top 20, bottom 10, or last? Let's see. 18th, 16th. How does Mahomes read defenses better than Hurts? Please, Mahomes is no better reading defenses than Hurts. His coach calls the right plays, and Mahomes makes the plays with his legs and back. It's exhausting. That is an exhausting, not answering those any longer. So pathetic. It's mind-numbing that people would actually freaking think that way. Ugh. It's on Mannion to provide a system that highlights the team's strength. No. According to Mannion on Saturday, I've got to put an offense and put plays in that Jalen's comfortable with. Not the offense. I wrote it down verbatim. Here. All the things that he said, I write them down. Want to get the direct quote. I've got to find plays that makes Jalen comfortable and confident. And put that offense and put the plays in that he likes. Remember, people in this city have been lying to themselves so long at this point and trashing greatness for so long just to justify shitty quarterback play. They're actually blurring their own sight of reality. Interesting. Yeah, it'll tell you that A.J. Brown sucks too, and that he's lost a step since June 2nd, that he's not the player that people think. And it's not true. Dude, did the guy not try hard at times last year? Yeah, I told you that from day one. He's that guy. You didn't want to hear it. Well, that's who he was. He wouldn't be engaged at times. You didn't want to hear that. Well, it was true. You had to copy the shit out of KC in order to beat them. If the offense starts slow, how long before Mannion gets the KP treatment and panic button is pressed? Well, when you spend that kind of money, James, and you've got those high-end guys on that side, you don't have a lot of patience. Let me say this to you, James. You see Reyes here? Here, let me show you this. A little bit of Prince, too. Let's go to Reyes here. You see this guy? A little bit of Prince. If those guys don't get to an NFC championship game or a Super Bowl and win it, it'll be another year of a Super Bowl window wasted with the kind of money that you're spending. Right? Do we agree? Reyes is going to try to debate Patrick Mahomes and Jalen Hurts. Let him go and do that with someone else. Mahomes' arm power and accuracy is so elite he doesn't have to read defenses. He just throws to whoever he wants. He's so elite, it's ridiculous. Dan, why do you lie? Your hatred for Hurts. I haven't really said anything negative today about Jalen. I was talking about the unit. I actually haven't brought Hurts up at all today. Let's see. Yeah, I don't know what you're talking about. I haven't. I said that the offense struggled. I heard John McMullen talking for 3 days about it. What's your problem? Let's see here. Dude, to sit there and say, how old is Patrick Mahomes? What is he, a year and a half older than Jalen? And bro, by the way, there's nothing wrong with saying there's a better player than somebody. There's better players always than somebody. How old is Patrick Mahomes? Is he 30 yet? He's 30. So by the time he's 30, 3-time Super Bowl MVP, 3-time champion, 2-time most valuable player, 2-time NFL Offensive Player of the Year, 7-time Pro Bowler, all before the age of 30. 2-time NFL passing leader, 2-time NFL yards leader. What a career. Shit, his career, he's already a Hall of Famer. They hear Pat reads a defense better than Jalen, and they think that means you're taking it. I'm not. That's dude. Patrick Mahomes he's a generational guy. Like Aaron Rodgers is a generational guy. Tom Brady. You know, one thing that Ryan Clark said that's right. Tom Brady's not a generational talent. He's a generational player for sure in how he's evolved himself. But as a runner, arm strength, his accuracy is off the charts, and the way he reads defenses is off the charts. Other than that, Aaron Rodgers' skill set and John Elway's skill set are superior to Tom Brady. Same with Josh Allen and Lamar Jackson. That doesn't mean anything about winning. Has something to do with winning. When someone makes valid points, their response is, oh, dude, if you're putting Hurts and Mahomes in a conversation, that's like putting Aaron Rodgers in a quarterback talk compared to Tom Brady. It's ridiculous. Aaron Rodgers underachieved. He underachieved with that talent. Brady overachieved with his lack of skill, but developing himself. There's a reason the guy was the 199th pick. Because nobody saw any skill set that the guy had. He wasn't fast. He ran a 5.5 40. His out passes were terrible at Michigan. Saying Hurts reads a defense like Mahomes is about the most mind-numbing thing ever. It makes me lose hope in humanity. A lot of people in here shit on Mark about Dak, but then do the same with Hurts. Duke can do no wrong. It's perfect. It's everyone else's fault around him when he fails. Christopher, he does fail in postseason. He does. Organizations win Super Bowls. Got to hire the right coach. Got to hire the right coordinator. You got to put the right personnel on the field. And you got to have the right GM. Let's take a look at what in the last 2 Super Bowls. Mike McDonald has turned out to be a heck of a coach. You had Clint Kubiak, who's now the head football coach of the Las Vegas Raiders. Sam Darnold finally got good coaching. Quarterback came through and proved that his year in Minnesota was not a fluke. Guys, 28-6 in 2 years and a Super Bowl win and 3-1 in the playoffs. Not much to be said. And you have John Schneider and you had the Allen family running the organization. In Philly, Howie Roseman has put together one of the absolute best rosters. And by the way, Zander's pick about the New Orleans Saints, keep an eye on that team. They're getting better and better. Okay? They're getting better and better. Let's see here. NFL measures out real good. It's not easy to be easy. Okay? Mahomes carried Kansas City's fourth quarter Super Bowl. Yale. Mickey Loomis is making a rebound. Their GM. I know Mickey. Mickey's done a nice job when he was with Sean Payton. And he's making a rebound. Boy, I'll tell you what. He went like this, and then he just did a nosedive with all that cap issues. And the Saints have been in salary cap hell for the last 3 years because of them going to the Super Bowl and playing under Breeze the way they did. But Mickey Loomis is now turning that thing around. And by the way, nobody saw Tyler Shuck. And Shuck might be somebody. Yeah, a lot of people can't comprehend the difference between talent versus being good overall. Lamar is talented. Allen is good and great. There's a difference. By the way, I'd take Hurts over Lamar. Preference. Okay? The Eagles wide receiver room looks like the island of misfit toys from Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer show. Bunch of Joes. I agree. I do. I've told you that. Just because you're deeper doesn't mean you're better. Well, we're deeper at wideout than we've been in the last couple of years. Yeah, but you're not better. Dude, A.J. Brown, Devontae Smith, Jahan Dotson. There's nothing on your team right now that's close to that. Devontae Smith, Dontavian Wicks, and Mekhi Lemon don't equal that. So Barkley gets no love in Philly. He's due reason they won the Super Bowl. Why? Well, because, again, that would take away from the conversation of Jalen Hurts. If you say that Barkley was the reason that they won the Super Bowl in 24, the Jalenites come after you. That's why. The reason that that team was so dominant and the reason that that football team back in the day could be one-dimensional was because Barkley was so insane off the charts great. Facts, outside of Smitty, who have unproven rookie, Hollywood and Moore, both journeymen, Cooper and Wilson, not good, and Wicks is like an average wide receiver, maybe sub-average. Yeah. That means your quarterback has got to be the difference maker. Hey, Bald Bear, like I said, one of the major conversations is going to be, again, how well this wide receiving core plays without AJ. And most notably, how does Jalen play and Devontae play without AJ Brown? That's going to – hey, there was a narrative on Patrick Mahomes. And when Patrick Mahomes lost Tyreek Hill, how is Patrick Mahomes going to play without a star-studded wideout? Okay? I'm looking 27 minutes ago. A.J. Brown catching another touchdown in the back of the end zone. I'll tell you what, man. That offense in New England is going to be different. It's going to be different. AJ building a connection. About an hour ago, he's talking about it. You bet. Happy birthday to the GOAT. Barkley had an MVP season, but he's not the quarterback, so he didn't get it. We had to hear about Allen versus Lamar. Well, it's tougher to win a regular season MVP than a Super Bowl MVP. You got to play great for 6 months. Very true, Sills. Mahomes was able to get it done with Juju as his number one wideout. Right. Hey, Bald Bear, that would be the equivalent of Jalen losing both Devontae and A.J. Brown in winning the Super Bowl with Hollywood Brown. Think about that, Bald Bear. Think of it. It'd be the equivalent of Jalen losing AJ and Devontae and winning it with Hollywood Brown. Sills, if Lemon turns into Ahmad St. Brown, do you think they would be one of the top 5 cores, assuming Smitty has 1,300? Yeah, I think they would be back on page to being where they were a year ago. If we do win the Super Bowl with this team, what would you say, Sills? That this would be the greatest turnaround for a quarterback to go from one style of play to another style of play I've ever seen in my entire life. The head football coach would get tremendous kudos. It would change the narrative of both him and the quarterback, and the conversation would definitely die on how those guys are perceived, and it would clearly change how people look at Hurts on a year-to-year basis. That's what I would say. Fair? I mean, you got people around the National Football League saying that this is a must-year for both Hurts and for Sirianni. They're not talking like that in Kansas City or Los Angeles with Sean McVay or even Kyle Shanahan. Andy Reid and his defense have nothing to do with Patrick Mahomes winning a Super Bowl multiple times. Anything to shit on Jalen. I don't even know how you see that. If we win the Super Bowl this year, Jalen Hurts deserves. If Jalen Hurts wins the Super Bowl this year, he should be the most valuable player in the league this year. Let's see. Barkley should have gotten the MVP in the Super Bowl. I would think the defense should have got the MVP in the Super Bowl. One of those guys, Milton or Josh. Rams already won one with Stafford. How about those other must-win a championship for Burrow, Jackson, Allen, etc.? I agree. Dak, too. Hurts is just a passer now since he refuses to run. I don't know. Supposedly there were more of that today. When you do that, you have to put in film study to evolve as a passer. This year will be a telling one which way Hurts goes. See, I didn't today. Bro, if you think telling the truth is shitting on somebody, whatever. I can't help you. That's a you thing. I do wish that Jalen had a guy like Andy Reid as a coach. No, you don't. That means Nick would be here. Oh, you mean as a head coach? Yeah, well, the reason why they don't. Kellen Moore was fired twice. One from Los Angeles with the Chargers and the other in Dallas. Wasn't like you were hiring a hot candidate. What hot candidate, coordinator-wise, have you hired ever? None. None. You've never hired the hot coordinator or the big-name guy. Why? Well, it's because of the head coach. Nick wants autonomy. I mean, you don't hire you think the Eagles couldn't hire a guy? Or I don't know, maybe they can't because they couldn't get Dable or they couldn't get Mike McDaniels. Fair. Some do say Hurts already possesses those traits, just haven't been asked to play a certain style, or at least has the ability to. Well, then why wouldn't you bring that out if you thought he could do it? And try, hey, Jay, so let me get this right. They're going to try developing Jalen Hurts in year 7? Well, Sills, you taught me something today. Thank you, my friend. You tell me what that was. So, right, you think in year 7, you're teaching that guy something new? And now I get what you were saying about Jalen Carter and be patient. They saw exactly the same problem that I did, his cardio conditioning and his diet. And that's why they put it into his contract. Well, think about that, Kim. Look at his contract. There's no playing incentives. There's no sack incentives. There's conditioning incentives and weight conditions in his contract. You know what that's telling them? That's telling, hey, I'll give you your money. You better show up on time or guess what? You forfeit that dough. You got $3 million in workout bonuses inside that contract. You got a $550,000 conditioning program, and you got a $250,000 weight parameter inside that contract. Think about that. $3 million. And just making sure you do the right. Hey, by the way, it takes no athleticism to be in shape. It takes no athleticism to show up on time. Players should know their playbook by camp. 240 million invested players better be in that book. Yeah. My problem with everyone giving everyone a hall pass, I was talking earlier about this. You got all those veteran guys making all that money, and you're trying to change all those guys who have been doing something for a way and for a while that way. And all of a sudden, you're going to start changing terminology on them? Dude, communication is like 90% of this thing. Communicating with your players. Shit, that's sometimes a bigger battle. Well, Sills, that's a better topic. If he's capable of becoming that type of quarterback, that means they restricted him for years. So when you say they restricted him into what? A 2-time NFC champion and a Super Bowl MVP? Okay. Oh, and my point about you laying, well, then you would agree then, Prince. What you just said here, Prince, right? So if this is a good one that Abe's saying, then my comment that the organization would have left Super Bowls on the table, you would agree with, right, Prince? If he is capable of doing this, and he is capable of transforming himself into being this quarterback they want, then they left Super Bowls on the table. Okay. I'll compromise with that. All right. Because I do believe that. Randall Cunningham washed out when the West Coast offense came. Well, yeah, when John Gruden tried to get him into the West Coast. Right. Randall couldn't do it. Jordan Davis just needs to be disciplined with his diet. No. Jalen Carter has that in his deal. Jalen Carter, that's in his deal. Weight conditioning programs are in his deal. Carter has those in his contract. Yeah, let's see if I can get that Jalen Carter contract up again. Which I think it's wild that you have all these workout conditions. Tell you what, Moro Joma did not sound happy today. And maybe a little bit disappointed. Because you know how you get recognized on a football team? Not with pats on the back. You get recognized on your football team how much they pay you. Not by people telling you how great you are, by how much they pay you. And yeah, well, hey, I think the player is really great. He's a really great guy. Vic talking highly of him, saying all those great things. Yeah, at the end of the day, see if I could bring that up. Yeah, that money was wild. And how they constructed it. It helps the Eagles big time. I think it's a well-constructed contract. And the cap hits are really good. And like I said, there's a $550 a year. There's like $750,000 worth of incentives based on weight. My only disagreement is these players are getting paid to play a game. If the boss says learn a new playbook, guess what? Learn the new verbiage. Yeah, that ain't really all that easy. Easier said than done. Seals, is it addition by subtraction if Jalen passes the ball more than Barkley, Goddard, Smitty, rather it being just AJ and Smitty? So is it addition by subtraction? Yes. Listen, Abe, if you see Barkley, Goddard, and Smitty, and there's a third guy, and they're spreading the wealth, that's developing the offensive passing attack. That's spreading the ball around. Yes, that's balance. And you're praying that Barkley's a 1,300-yard back. Dude, here, my opinion, if Barkley has 1,350, 10 touchdowns, and he's 4.8 a carry, almost 5 yards a carry, and you spread it around to three different players, you're going to be in the conversation. I'm just not sold that Barkley's going to get back to 1,300 yards. Morrow's model now should be Milton Williams. Have a great year, get paid from another team. It's just a matter of circumstances for him. It's the numbers game. It absolutely is. The more, hey, you want to hear something really too, which is terrible? The better he plays, the less chances he'll be here. So if that guy plays exceptional football, the chances of him being an Eagle decline because there'll be a bigger market for him. And then if Jalix Hunt plays his ass off and he's a 12, 13 sack guy, you're going to have to address that. Why would you assume something that a guy's never done? At the back end of his career, that's so unlikely. Hey, Sills, I thought that would be addition by multiplication, multiplying what has been divided before subtracting it. Way over my skis, guy. Goddard had a great year last year. Think so? Fishing Maniac, stick to grouper. Hey, Fishing Maniac, I got to tell you something. I've now fallen in love with cod. I like cod now. My wife made a couple pieces of cod, and I liked it. As long as players can use GLP-1, they shouldn't have to worry about making weight. Yeah, that's what they're doing. Let's see here. If Hunt goes crazy this year, I'd pay him and trade Nolan Smith. As would I. Goddard's blocking fell off last year. Let's see if I hit that. Dude, I got to tell you, Jeremiah Trotter's having a last year he played well. I don't know, man. You may end up doing something. You got rid of Nakobe, and you know what you may have done? You may have opened up the door for Trotter to be a long-time answer at linebacker. You may lose Nakobe, but Trotter might be a long-term answer. Because then you move off of Zach Bond. What I would do is, if I were Vic, I'd try to get Trotter on the field and try the beginning of the replacement of Zach Bond. Now, look, I don't want to take Bond off the field because Bond's one of my better players. And he's one of my playmakers, and he's great in open space. But if I'm thinking business-wise, hey, Jeremiah Trotter, 2 years, he's my starter. Bond's off the team. I got him and Campbell for the next 7 years. And then you have those two dudes in front of him. Pretty strong up the middle, dog. And you got Cooper playing at base behind him. Hey, by the way, supposedly Makuba's playing better. What if Bond has another great year? Well, congratulations for not robbing a bank. That's why you're paying him $17.5. You're expecting him to have another great year. What do you mean? What if? What if he has a bad year? You should be saying. What if he has another great year? You're paying him for it. Bond was better when he didn't have to receive and communicate the call. I don't know. I think he's going to be okay. I think he's going to be fine. I give credit to Hurts getting to the first Super Bowl his sophomore season. The second one, though, he was carried by the roster. He shouldn't be given much credit for 24. I don't know about that. Quarterback, listen, you give a quarterback credit. Here is something that Jimmy Johnson will tell you all the time. Okay? You know what that is? I don't care if my quarterback makes psychotic plays. I care if my quarterback doesn't make the dumb play. That's the problem you're looking at. All right, let me pay some bills here. Our great friends at Morgan & Morgan, the number one injury law firm in all of America for a reason, and that is because they win. With over $30 billion recovered, Morgan & Morgan is the number one place for you to go if you've ever been injured on the job. I tell you about the family in Pennsylvania that was initially offered $650K. They got nearly $30 million in settlement. Or the family in Florida that was initially offered $350,000. They got nearly $12 million in settlement. Go to forthepeople.com/big sales or pound love 529. That's forthepeople.com/big sales or pound love 529. And do me a favor. You tell them Big Sil sent you.
There's a reason Detective Johnson is the gossip king.
Oh, did you hear? Jackie and Tom
are getting a divorce? Sad.
Well, I heard that Ashley
Had work done on her face? Yeah, oof.
Just like there's a reason Morgan & Morgan is America's largest injury law firm. Injured? With over $25 billion recovered for our clients, there's a reason to go big.
bathroom. Okay.
Morgan & Morgan, America's largest injury law firm.
Oh.
Ignite your nights with free live entertainment daily, only at Live Casino and Hotel Philadelphia's Center Bar. 7 days a week, enjoy some of the region's top party bands, performers, and DJs as they take the stage in the heart of the casino action. Great cocktails, live music, and lively moments. It's all happening at Center Bar at Live Casino and Hotel Philadelphia. Visit livecasinophilly.com for more details and the complete list of upcoming events. Must be 21 or older. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER.
This is Eric. When he got injured in a car accident, he called Morgan & Morgan. He not only gets a lawyer, he gets trial lawyers like Sam and Jessica who are in it to win it. He gets his own investigators with briefcases, leather ones. And if you ever have questions, our customer service folks keep things rolling. Injured? We're your army. Morgan & Morgan, America's largest injury law firm.
Welcome to the Jet Setters and the High Rollers, to the Shot Takers and the Tastemakers. Welcome to the Viewfinders, the Thrill Seekers, and the Night Owls. Welcome to everything you could possibly want on one 5-mile island. Welcome to the Wildwoods. Book your stay today.
In our hometown, we all look out for each other. We go the extra mile to lend a helping hand. We step up to keep our communities going strong. And at Independence Blue Cross, we're here to keep you going strong. We've been deeply rooted in our communities for more than 85 years. And that connection to members has earned us our spot as the #1 health insurer in the region. So while you look out for your neighbors, know IBX is always looking out for you.
Your gut says Miami is going to win and you should take the over. Your gut also said your NFT selfies would only go up in value. They didn't. But your head is on Sports Grid and knows the QB is in concussion protocol. The backup has a 45 QBR against the zone coverage. The New York D has the most sacks in the league. So yeah, trust your head. It's smarter to be on Sports Grid.
EAGLES. Eagles.
Boy, I'll tell you what, man. I just looked at my Twitter and all the impressions and such, man. It is already tripled. You know it's football season. I made a proclamation over the weekend. Hey, Prince, are you in here? I think you've been trying. I think you wore me down with this one. And where's my 49er guy? Where's my 49er guy? Is he in here still? Where is that guy? Here he is. Nad, I got to tell you, man. And I made this proclamation over the weekend. And I got to tell you, bro, I'm starting to think that Kyle Shanahan's the most overrated coach in the National Football League. I don't give a shit that he could call a play. I don't give a shit that that guy could draw up a play. So let me get this right. You get into a car accident. Ricky Pearsall's now out. Your clock management is ridiculous, both 2 minutes into a half and 2 minutes at the end of the game. The guy, was responsible for a 28-point debacle in Atlanta. He lost the Super Bowl twice already. Well, 3 times now. I mean, dude, how about this? Nad, I mean, if Josh Allen and Joe Burrow and Lamar Jackson have to win a Super Bowl, don't you think that guy does too? Here, and this shows you what, again, a person doesn't know. It says you switch up too much, bro. Get this. You switch up too much, bro, because I go by production and non-production. So to this guy's mentality, of course you switch up the same way you switched up on Carson Wentz. The same way people switch up on coaches, on players when they don't perform. That's called the NFL, guy. When a player's playing great and down and up, what are you supposed to say? The guy's fucking great? There is no such thing as a set take on a player based on the player's production. My God. I talk about a guy who plays great, and if he doesn't play well, that's like doing this. Hey, Barkley was sensational in 24. Last year he wasn't. That's not flip-flopping. That's fact. That's fact. Guy played really well in 2022. Didn't play well last year. Dude, no shit. That's how I cover. How well do you play? I don't have a favorite player, except for Cooper DeZean. I don't have a favorite player. Does that guy play well? Did he not play well? Did he play great? Did he play well? Patrick Mahomes didn't have a good season last year, and he got hurt. Is that an indictment on his entire career? Fuck no. What are you not understanding about covering sports? Nothing is a broad stroke across the table, dude. Well, this guy's great and that's it. That's not true. How many people looked at Donovan McNabb? All right, bro, I'm not. Get this. Hey, Joe, were there two sides? Joe, do you think there were two sides to Donovan McNabb's career? Like, he was really great at the beginning, right? And then he wasn't so good at the end when he stopped running. Well, what changed? Production. Direction. Right? Well, that's not an indictment on his overall career, but it kind of in a way is. Every football player that plays in the National Football League, again, there's no set stone on what a guy does. How many times you see football? Look, very few players are Myles Garrett. That guy's great every time he steps on the field. Do you know how many players are? Those are the less than 1%ers where a guy is awesome. Look, Hurts doesn't play great every game. Barkley doesn't play great every game. Q does. Cooper does. Those are different ball players. Carter doesn't even. Those are different dudes. Okay? Injuries are part of it, guy. Well, he was injured. So what? Welcome to the NFL. What are you not getting with that? And stop with the injuries. It's part of the league and part of the conversation on a player. Well, he got hurt. No shit. Bo Jackson got hurt. Bo was the most talented player maybe in the history of the NFL at running back. He got hurt. Well, that's part of the narrative. Think about this. I was thinking about it this weekend. Even the worst bottom of the barrel player in the NFL still made it to the NFL. Yeah, those are less than 1%ers. Kim, you have a better shot at being an astronaut than playing in the National Football League. In 107 years of football, there's only been 28,000 players play, and 16,000 are alive on this planet. Think of that. In 107 years, there's only been, and there's 16,000 men who have ever played in the NFL that are alive, according to the NFL PA, that have ever played in the league or ever been drafted in the league or what have you. Do you know how rare it is to play in that league or get drafted, suit up, play, let alone be a 10-year guy and a guy who shows up like, do you know how cool it is to see a guy like Quinyon Mitchell for me, or to see a guy like Cooper who plays the way they do every game? Those guys are 1%ers of 1%ers. Nobody plays like that. Like, those are phenomenal football players. Lane Johnson, the way he plays every game, those guys are spectacular. Trashing Shanahan for not winning a Super Bowl in 9 years when it took Dungy 11 years and Peyton Manning 11. I don't think Shanahan would win a Super Bowl with Peyton Manning or with any quarterback. Dude, you've got to win, man. When you're a coach, not winning a Super Bowl, hey, players get away with it. Coaches don't. Or get this. Here's one for you. Hey, Rasputin. Let me show you something here. Here's something that has always bugged me. All-time list for wins. NFL coaches. So here's a list of coaches with all-time wins. Okay. Here's a coach that is 200 and 126. And he has a 613 win percentage. He's got a better win percentage than Bill Parcells, Chuck Noll, Bill Parcells, Tom Coughlin, Mike Shanahan, Mike Holmgren, Bud Grant. Let's see here. Marv Levy, by the way, turned 101 today. Let's see. Weeb Eubank. Dick Vermeil. Do you know who that is? And let me see something. How many years did he have a losing season in 21? Let me see. 1, 2. In his last year coaching, he was 14-2. Then he left the NFL. Do you know who that is? 200 wins and 126 losses. Do you know who that is? He's 5-13 in the playoffs. This is why he's not in the Pro Football Hall of Fame. Marty Schottenheimer. You think there's coaches that have coached in this league for 21 years with only one losing season? In the last year he coached, he was 14-2. Marty Schottenheimer won 200 games. He won more football games. Let's see. He won more football games as a coach than Chuck Noll, Mike Tomlin, Dan Reeves, Sean Payton, Bill Parcells, Mike Shanahan, Mike Holmgren, Bud Grant, Bill Cowher, Marv Levy, Tony Dungy. I mean, he's not a Hall of Fame coach. I mean, like, how are you not a Hall of Fame coach? Right? All right, guys. Guys, we appreciate you very much, man. It's going to be interesting. By the way, stay tuned because John McMullen was out there at camp today, and reportedly the offense had a really good football day along with Jalen. So that's next for you. We appreciate each and every single one of you. We will see you 2 to 6 tomorrow. Hit that like button on the way out, and we'll catch you on the flip side.